for tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage.
Phillips.
I wake up and I repeat, it's only me that I can beat. I might drop a song a week. Let's go, 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 go. 3, 2, 1. I don't like to brag, but I'm really young. 25 late, I got money on my mind. Live life great, but I'm always on the grind. Real hustle, baby, throw my roller in the sky.
Get ready for blast off.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you guys. I see a lot of people here in front of me, and I have a simple question. Pune, how are you guys doing? Not doing good? Well, we'll make sure that you guys are doing good at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Oman Valorant Challenges South Asia Split 1 Cup 1 Finals. और आज का दिन बहुत ही exciting होने वाला है. We have the top 4 teams in the country competing for massive stage on this very stage. But इससे पहले कि दिन की शुरुआत करें, huge thank you to our lovely sponsors. This Oman Valorant Challenges South Asia is powered by Oman with our styling partners Philips OneBlade, and of course brought to you guys by Nordwind Gaming. अब स्टोरीज जाने हमको हमारी 4 फाइनलिस्ट टीम की, क्योंकि अभी तो यहाँ पे कोई भी मौजूद नहीं है. बट इन अ लिटिल व्हाइल द प्लेयर्स आर गोइंग टू बी जॉइनिंग अस ऑन द स्टेज एंड दे विल गेट रेडी टू compete against each other. कंपटीशन बहुत ज़्यादा टफ होने वाला है, और एटलीस्ट दैट इज व्हाट वी सॉ इन द ग्रुप स्टेजेस. लेकिन फाइनल्स के अंदर कहानी कुछ अलग ही हमें नजर आती है. बट लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, इससे पहले कि फाइनल्स की कहानी को आगे बढ़ाएं, आई एम गोइंग टू नीड लिटिल बिट ऑफ हेल्प, क्योंकि अब टीम्स की जर्नी फॉलो करना उतना ज़्यादा आसान नहीं रहता. देयर इज अ लॉट दैट हैपेंस बिहाइंड द स्टेज, देयर इज अ लॉट दैट हैपेंस वंस यू रीच द फाइनल्स. बट उसी के साथ आई नो यहाँ पे एक्सपीरियंस करने के लिए काफ़ी ज़्यादा कुछ मिलेगा, ना सिर्फ प्लेयर्स को बट फॉर यू गाइज एज वेल, बिकॉज वी आर कमिंग टू यू लाइव फ्रॉम द IGS पुणे, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन. और यहाँ पे इस ओमन वैलोरेंट चैलेंजेस साउथ एशिया के स्टेज के साथ towards my right I have the amazing Oman booth as well, जहाँ पे आप लोगों के लिए कुछ amazing experiences हमारे लिए बहुत ही specially prepared है. So do drop in to IGS Pune, join us here in the arena. And for now, as I said, teams की journey जाननी है. Let me help you guys. In fact, I'm going to need a little bit of help. और ये help करेंगे मेरी हमारे amazing talents, ladies and gentlemen, जो इस वक्त wait कर रहे हैं backstage. So let's head over to Mr. Krat with Divyanshu and Shubham.
Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Oman's Valorant Challenger South Asia, presented by Nordwind Gaming with our styling partner Philips OneBlade. I'm going to be your host, Castro Necro, of course, Sean alongside. With me on the panel is going to be Shai Shanu. And Shai Shanu, we're not Krat, we're not Fritz, we're not Spartus, but we're someone else. We've taken a direct wildcard entry in the grand finals, or in the finals at least. How do you feel, man?
It's one of the most exhilarating experience to join in the action during the playoffs itself. But yes, I'm really excited to see how things are going to unfold, considering how group stages have unfolded a lot of drama.
That is true. As you mentioned, a lot of drama has unfolded. Another thing needs to be unfolded in front of us, and that's going to be the overall prize pool for not just Split 1, even Split 2. $66,000 on the line for now, and in Split 2, it's going to be $64,000 on the line. A lot of money, but as you move on forward towards the distribution, the first spot will be getting $15,000. That's a lot of money, man.
Indeed, and the second spot will drop down to less than half. That's just $7,000. Third and fourth. So basically, if you're at land, you will be getting at least $4,000 in your pocket. Fifth and sixth are going to receive $1,000. Seventh and eighth, $500 for themselves. So we already know Reckoning, Orangutan, MLT, and Carnival have received their end of the spectrum.
I mean, once again, you're still getting away with a decent amount of money, a decent amount of chunk in your hands, which is really important for all the teams that have not been able to make it. And some of those teams are also quite the big names. Reckoning Esports, for me personally, was quite a massive shocker when I did not see them move on forward in the final brackets, which is unfortunate. But hey, now we've got some of the best teams yet now, and what a way to start things off the day as well, right? Between True Rippers and Revenant Esports. As we move on forward with the brackets, ladies and gentlemen, the second matchup of the day is going to be between Grey Fox and Metal Esports. It's a double elimination brackets, so teams will have another chance to rise back up on the occasion.
It's going to be super fun yet again because just as you mentioned, it's a rematch for both of these teams. Back in group stages, we saw Revenant winning against True Rippers in a 2-1 fashion. Grey Fox and Metal ended up in Grey Fox's way. So it's going to be a redemption arc for the teams who were not able to win against their nemesis. And again, what best time to show your opponents a defeat when you are in the playoffs itself and the stakes are extremely high.
Time to talk about some of the best players as well from these individual teams, right? In my opinion, SK Rossi has, of course, been performing up to the mark. Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of struggles even from his side, but then we also need to consider that there's a big shift in the role as well. Now he's playing that initiator role. His presence inside of the game is much more important for his team compared to back in the day when he used to play duelist. All he needed to do was just press W, get a lot of kills in his hands, but now he needs to support the team as well with his usage of utility. As we move on forward towards the team cards in front of us, we're gonna have skills. SK Rossi, Severine, DOS9, Paradox. Severine and DOS9's addition has been phenomenal, especially DOS9. This man on the duelist has been ripping things apart.
Yeah, true. I mean, the reason why we see SK Rossi on that initiator role on Sovas and Skies is because of the fact that DOS9 is the one who's been playing on that duelist role. But again, we've been talking about Revenant. Let's have a quick look over True Rippers as well. One of the anticipated lineup which promised a lot of potential. And honestly, yes, you could say that they still need to tune up their performance a little bit. But always being in the playoff, LF, Deathmaker, Disrupt, RU, Techno, this is a power-packed roster.
That is true. It definitely seems like a powerhouse of a roster, but still, when this roster was announced, we all thought that, oh, this is probably going to be the Indian super team. But then later on, inside the Split 1, now the struggles have been clearly there. And we know they also barely qualified in the finals bracket too, so still there's a lot much more things to be ironed out. There's a lot of things that needs to be patched up. But let's move on forward and look at the head-to-head graphic between these two best players. As I was speaking about SK Rossi, of course he's one of those players that's going to be on the graphic too, and on the opposite side it's going to be Disrupt. And Disrupt a little bit lacking when it comes to the stats, but not that far behind.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Previously, True Rippers would put Disrupt on that duelist and everyone else would be just flexing all the different roles. But now, Disrupt has basically switched back towards that initiated role. So having an ACS of over 207, that's also still pretty solid considering your opponent is, of course, SK Rossi, the man who's basically been playing in those VCT Pacific leagues. He's got a lot of experience. So I would still say it's a very neck-to-neck matchup in terms of who frags the most. It always comes down to the situation in the game. But yeah, I would still say that Revenant, they have got a powerhouse in the form of SK Rossi, plus they also have a lot of flexibility in terms of Paradox. He always picks up all the kind of weird shenanigan roles that you could expect him to, and he's basically played all three apart from just a controller. So really looking forward to what they're going to bring on the table now in this playoff, because True Rippers would have to do something out of the ordinary.
I mean, the last time when these two teams duked it off against each other, the scoreline was completely evident. I mean, we knew it was Revenant Esports coming out on top, but still, True Rippers, they showed a lot of struggles. And Revenant Esports is another one of those teams that heavily likes to rely on their mechanics. And now that True Rippers, also they've got some mechanic-heavy players, for example, Deathmaker, including Disrupt as well. I want to see how this competition once again is going to be starting in front of us, because one thing is for sure, Revenant Esports' strat book should be read by True Rippers.
I mean, this is the team that has not yet lost even a single series. They've
Yeah.
only given up on a few maps, one of them being the evident icebox, in which they've got a less than 50% win rate, played 7 times, won only 3 times. But yeah, that's an entirely different story. As you know, the teams were trying to practice out their map pools and everything. But on the other end of the spectrum, one thing I really love about True Rippers is the fact how that Maker is now on that duelist role, as you also mentioned, that they've been setting things up really well. So I'm looking forward to how it's going to
It's only
happen.
me that I can be. I might drop a song a week. Look, go, go, go.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage. Phillips.
I wake up and I repeat. It's only me that I can be. I might drop a song a week. Look, go, go, go.
ऑल राइट आई नो एनालिस्ट डेस्क की जो डिस्कशंस होती है बहुत ज़्यादा टेक्निकल हो जाती है, लेकिन टेक्निकल चीज़ों के बाद हमको मज़े करना भी तो बहुत पसंद है। और अब वही मज़ा शुरू होने जा रहा है लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, बिकॉज़ अब बारी है हमारी टीम्स की टू टेक ऑन व्हाट इज राइटफुली देयर सीट्स ऑन द स्टेज एंड बिगिन द एक्शन। टीम्स को बुलाना शुरू करेंगे एंड allow me to introduce to you guys the team that was at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the group stage, ladies and gentlemen. A new revamped Revenant Esports. Here they come, here they come. The man has not changed at all. Paradox, ladies and gentlemen. Can I have a round of applause for them, please? That is Revenant Esports, ladies and gentlemen. हमारी सबसे पहली finalist थी. Let I would request you to take your particular stations. You also have the desk. Thank you. Yes, अब इनका swag तो हम सब ने देखा, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be tough to beat. लेकिन challenge नहीं होगा तो मजा कैसे आएगा? So allow me to introduce to you guys the team that will be competing against them on this very stage right now, ladies and gentlemen. Group stages में भले ही ये number 4 हो, लेकिन these guys sure know how to rip them all. Ladies and gentlemen, True Rippers! Let's go, let's go. A little more cheer for the True Rippers. Alright, True Rippers, I would request you guys to take your stations as well. लेकिन हेलो आप मेरे साथ रुकिए यहाँ पे थोड़ी देर हम बातचीत करेंगे. And Rossi, can I have Rossi? Everyone wants Rossi, but only a few can have him. How are you guys doing? First of all, Helef, how are you feeling?
Feeling good, confident.
Alright, Rossi, you?
Yeah, feeling good, confident.
यार ये सेम आंसर है. एक सवाल है जो आपके लिए थोड़ा अलग होगा. घर वापसी हुई है, कैसा लग रहा है? You're playing with your boys, new set of players, new team. How are you feeling?
I mean, I'm more hungry now to win and get back to the stage where I want to be. So that is the goal, to do it with every one of my teammates now.
And Helef, your team is very special in one regard that you guys have become brothers in arms. सबसे ज़्यादा लंबा टाइम आप लोगों ने अभी साथ में stick किया compared to everyone else. Do you think कि उससे आपको एक edge मिलेगा? Because he just said he's very hungry.
Of course, edge मिलेगा. हम लोग का bonding बहुत अच्छा है and team understanding ज़्यादा अच्छा है वो लोग से. So I think वो edge मिलेगा हम लोग को.
Are you hungry as well? Breakfast किया?
Yeah, everyone is hungry here.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys so much, Rossi. Best of luck. Helef, best of luck. And well, for you guys don't need luck. What you need is, अगर आप पुणे में हो, join us at IGS Pune, ladies and gentlemen, because यहाँ पे हमारे Omen Valorant Challenges South Asia का grand finale तो चल ही रहा है, but उसी के साथ साथ जैसा मैंने बताया, there's an amazing Omen booth as well right next to me. अगर आपको बेजोड़ gaming experience करनी है, this is that one spot where you can experience it and see what the max potential looks like. But I guess अभी बस एक ही चीज का इंतजार है. मैं भी बहुत उतावला हो रहा हूं. I'm sure you guys are excited for the action to begin as well. Are you excited for the action? All right, I see a lot of people who are waiting for the action to begin, and उसी के लिए हम लोग चलेंगे एक बार फिर से हमारे casters के पास. Ladies and gentlemen, so let's head over to Mr. Kratz, Spartus, and Fritz.
Man, the vibe in the arena seems quite nice, and I wish, man, I was over there, but unfortunately, no, that's not the case. We're just sitting at the home, we're casting this event, but hey, it feels great to be over here on the desk. Now, still, a big question and a big mystery still lingers around. What is going to be the map veto? Because last time, when these teams duked it off against each other, Revenue Esports, they went for the Sunset ban, and True Rippers, they went for the Bind ban.
I mean, there have been a few maps where teams do not usually like to play, right? Just as you mentioned, Sunset for RNT Esports, and for the other side, True Rippers. You've already mentioned about Bind. There's also the map of Breeze that True Rippers have not yet touched on yet. So, I mean, there could be two things, right? Either they are not very comfortable on the map, or they're just cooking something up. You may never know which one of that is going to be, because Bind, again, being the kind of map that we haven't seen a lot of teams play on or actively pick on in the entire group stages, I'm also expecting teams to potentially bring it out to show us some new strats that they might have developed, because normally in competitive scene we would see triple controllers, maybe double controllers, and switch things up in terms of those initiators. But I would also love to see some of that being adapted to the Indian ecosystem as well. You would always want to see those adaptations.
And now, once again, Rossi being added inside of Revenue Esports brings in so much of that experience factor. Rossi's been on the international stages. He can bring in so much experience for the team. He can bring in that maturity that needs to be there. Paradox is one of those players that is known to overheat in certain situations, and hopefully he's not going to be doing the same thing once again over here. SK Rossi, considering he's not playing the duelist role anymore, I'm assuming he's, of course, not going to overextend as well, because his value to the team means a lot more now. So SK Rossi, I'm not expecting the same thing. Disrupt is one of the most clinical players that I've seen so far in this region, so I'm expecting the same type of gameplay that I've seen past year.
I mean, normally when players switch from duelist to some other role, you sometimes see a few problems in them adjusting to the slow-paced play of the other specific roles. Like, if it's a controller, if it's an initiator, you are obviously slower than the duelist a little bit. So, normally you see players facing some problems, but this has not been showing that at all. The man has been playing Breach. He's played it 7 times, if I'm not wrong. We saw it in the stats itself, and he's been doing such a great job at that. You always love to see these adjustments come in. And also, for True Rippers, this lineup has been together for a while. That's exactly what the host mentioned as well. They've been brothers in arms, and one thing that I really love about them is the fact that they always bring in the Gecko. So I would expect them to probably pull out a map which kind of supports Gecko. Like, they played it on Lotus as well, and Icebox, so maybe they would want to pick one of them up.
Enough for the speculations. It's time to move on directly in the map veto, ladies and gentlemen. Sunset's going to be the map off the rip from the side of Revenant Esports. The same map bans coming through, but this time we're seeing True Rippers banning out Breeze, which is an interesting affair once again. The last time these two teams, when they faced off against each other, Bind was the one that was being banned, and now that they are going for the Breeze ban, I want to see what the pick is going to be. True Rippers instantly going for that Bind pick against Revenant Esports. I want to see what the reply is going to be here from Revenant.
Indeed, because this is the first time both of these teams will be playing on Bind itself in Omen Valorant Championship. So I am going to be super excited to see how it's going to roll out. As you mentioned, Revenant taking away Lotus, not going to give the edge to True Rippers and don't want to face their Gecko composition. The question is, are True Rippers going to ban Ascent? Because they did lose previously against Revenant.
So once again, I'm seeing a little bit of an exchange here. Last time, True Rippers was the one who banned out Breeze, or Revenant was the one who banned out Breeze, but this time it's going to be some other team. This time it's going to be Revenant Esports doing the same thing. Now, as you do move on forward, even Lotus being banned out by the players of Revenant Esports. So once again, you can't say they have traded the bans a little bit here and there. The only change we're seeing is Bind now that's being picked up in the pool. I want to see what the adjustment's going to look like. And once again, as I mentioned, Revenant Esports is one of those teams that likes to rely heavily on their mechanics. So I highly doubt we're going to see any type of struggles from Revenant Esports on towards Bind. But if you speak on the opposite side of things, True Rippers, it all really comes down to how their mental is going to be looking like in this first game.
I mean, mental is really important, but again, I'm still confused why they would actually want to actively pick Icebox yet again. Maybe the entire thought process for their side was that, yeah, we've played that map a lot, we've already practiced a lot, so why not just pick it up in the playoffs itself and show us what we have been cooking on that map. But yeah, in terms of this map veto entirely, it's going to come down on how Bind is being played by True Rippers. It's their pick, they've pulled it out of the box, and I really am excited to see the kind of even composition they would probably bring up on that map. But yet again, Split previously when both of these teams duked it out, it was True Rippers who could not qualify and who could not close that thing out. It was 13 and 10, if I'm not wrong, last time when they met on Split. And True Rippers actually had a pretty solid attacking half. They faced some problems on the defense.
That is true. I mean, on Split, as you mentioned, the scoreline was 13-10, and then later on, when things moved on forward to the decider, the scoreline was 13-7, where Revenant Esports closed off the entire series in a 2-1 fashion. For Revenant Esports, 2-1 has been looking like the meta so far, right? Majority of their matches have went in 2-1. There's only one match in the league stage that went 2-0. So once again, I want to see the same stuff repeat over here. Maybe Revenant Esports, if they do 2-0, the likes of True Rippers, it's going to be a massive, stark statement that they make in these brackets.
It's one of the most important factor as well when you always look into how a team has been qualified for the playoffs. But, you know, most of those 2-1s, they've lost the map on Icebox. I mean, they played it 7 times. They've lost it 4 times. So you could clearly see that they have been practicing all along those group stages. One of the main reasons was because they were super confident about the fact that, you know, we will win the next 2. So why not just practice things out on Icebox and include that in our map pool itself? But on the other end of the spectrum, once you're looking at the side of True Rippers, you could always see that they were facing some problems early on in the tournament when that Maker was not on that duelist. And once he went to the duelist and everyone else settled into their own specific roles, they went in for those, you know, double initiator compositions as well, pulling in the Gecko Sovas on Icebox, and also bringing in the Gecko Breach on the map of Split. It kind of slowly settled in and worked out for them. So I'm expecting to see the exact same thing. One thing is there for sure, that they've basically won and lost on all of those above maps. Icebox, Split, Lotus, Sunset. They've kind of lost it once or maybe twice as well. But Ascent has always been the map wherein they've basically lost every single time. They face a lot of problem on those attacking sides. And I really love how they banned it out.
Now that even that map's being banned out, so once again, the possibilities, they open up a little bit more, right? And we also all took a look at Disrupt's face a while ago. I still remember the first time when we saw his debut on the Indian stage over here, in the South Asian stage, I mean. This Filipino player impressed a lot of the Indian fans, that's for sure. The amount of mechanics that he showcased inside of the game. He's also a man with a lot of patience too. And he was also clutching some of the insane clutch scenarios as well. So Disrupt has been one of those players that has been impressing me from the start. And now that we get a chance to witness him once again inside of this year, 2024, I'm pretty sure the improvement's going to be even more. So I just want to see what Disrupt has got in stock for these finals, because if he's not got something new, then once again, True Rippers might just struggle. They might just move down to the lowest bracket.
And that's exactly where you do not want to be, specifically in playoffs when you're so very close to that grand finals, that $15,000 prize pool. And again, True Rippers have literally got some things to prove for them and their own fans out there, because as you've already mentioned, this is a packed roster. This has got a lot of promise. And with the way how this team is now playing, with, just as you mentioned, Disrupt being one of the key pillars, Deathmaker on that duelist, giving those amazing entries to the team, Helif as well, settling onto the Gecko more than the Breach, because of course you're the IGL of the team. Breach requires you to have a lot more technicality, so IGLing and breaching at the same time, it kind of is a difficult combination to pull off. Not saying that it cannot be done, but it's very difficult to do that. So he gets a little laid back on Gecko, gives him enough time to probably analyze what's happening around the map, and that is one of the reasons why we are seeing a good increase in attack round win rate for the side of True Rippers. They were struggling on their attacking side a lot previously, but they've been working on that, and I really feel that the way they select those agents now, it has also impacted on the way they play inside the game itself.
That is true. Even the Gecko composition on the map is split is something that's definitely catching me off guard over here. Helif is the man playing the Gecko, but then another composition that we saw where Disrupt is now also playing the Breach side, which is something that I have been sort of getting caught off guard with. Disrupt has been a person who has
because सबने बहुत मेहनत करके तो सबका रन अलग-अलग टाइप का हुआ है एंड आई थिंक एक टीम जो हो सकता है जो आप मतलब आई वांटेड लाइक फेल्ट लाइक दे कुड हैव कम वो है रेकनिंग बट बहुत क्लोज हो गए वो लोग बट या दैट्स इट
interesting. Helif having some choice words to say over there in that interview, but then once again we get back inside of the arena where you can feel the intensity on the players' faces. DOS9, one of those young players who has been performing up to the mark from the side of Revenant Esports. It's his first time ever playing inside of the South Asian region, including Severine, and both these players have been able to perform up to the mark without any issues. DOS9 has been at the top of the table the entire time in the league stage as well, and now the same type of performance or even better performance is expected from this man.
Crossline again, just as you mentioned, yeah, there are certain situations wherein he kind of pops off like anything. But, you know, whenever you look how Revenant has been playing, the pressure has not been on his shoulders that much, right? Because all the other players of his team, they've been kind of going in with that supportive set of mindset, and they have also been fragging really well. But yeah, on the other end of the spectrum, if you look at how Skills has been doing, I mean, we know that Skills being in this lineup as well has provided a lot of room to his own entire teammates, and with the way that he kind of settles in onto that Sentinel role, he's also got that Cypher in his pocket, he's got that KJ as well. I really feel that the way he holds on to the site itself kind of gives the leeway to his team to try and go in for some late rotations as well, which let them have a lot of map information. So all of these technicalities, they kind of work in together, and this creates a very solid roster. Now, you mentioned it multiple times how well Revenant has been technically and also mechanically gifted players. I mean, all of them, but the way they synergize as well and the way they adjust, it kind of is one of the main reasons why they have been so very successful and gone unbeaten back in the group stages.
Oh man, you're throwing a lot of information over here. Even I'm losing track of what some of the words that you've been saying, man. I guess you gotta dial down on that nerdy stuff a little bit here, my friend, and just enjoy the vibe in the arena, right? You can't see the stalls in the back as well. One thing is for sure, if you are in the arena itself, if you are there at the land spot, you guys are gonna have a lot of fun. There's so much stuff to look around for. There's also the Omen booth where you can go and check out some new devices where you guys can go and game yourself and have a lot of fun. In general, you can also make a lot of new friends, maybe meet some new teammates for your ranked games. There's so much stuff, there's so much possibilities that can happen in that arena. So I really request you guys, if you guys live anywhere near Pune, make sure to visit it right now and be there for the LAN event. Feel it for yourself, because I'm pretty sure if you guys have never visited a LAN tournament, it's an experience you guys would want to feel at least once in your life.
I mean, you would never want to miss a LAN event itself because, again, you've got all the players that you've been looking up to right in front of you, they're playing in front of you, and all of the goodies that you can check out for multiple
Rank
booths, as you
yourself and
also
your
mentioned.
opponents on
But
which
yeah,
position they will finish in VCSA this year.
If I have to rank us and other teams in the playoff, I think definitely we'll rank ourselves one. Of course, we're a new team and we are just here to grow as individuals because at the end, winning Split 2 and going to Ascension is what matters. But on the other hand, we also want to build momentum by winning all the tournaments that are in front of us. So I'd obviously rank us one, second, third, fourth, doesn't really matter. I mean, not in a bad way. Not thinking about any other teams. I'm just focusing on our players and our teams. And बाकी जो भी plays दूसरा team आएगा, I don't think my focus is not there at all.
Interesting. The man's quite focused, and that's what we like to see. SK Roxy, this man's probably going to be in his practice range, just warming his hands up, getting ready for the competition that's ahead of us. And we know what SK Roxy is capable of when he gets his hands warmed up. But then on the opposite side, Deathmaker, another man who's going to be the one to watch out for in this competition. And as you mentioned, that role change when he came in through, Deathmaker, once again switching back to that duelist role, sort of got the True Rippers squad back on the line.
no, I mean, they've started off with quite a few jitters early on in those group stages, and their qualification, as we also discussed about it, was kind of shaky, wherein three different teams had the exact same scoreline of 4 wins and 3 losses, and only, you could say, three of them were supposed to qualify. Yeah, that was 2 of them that were supposed to qualify. Reckoning, unfortunately, were the ones who picked up the short end of the stick. At the end of the day, True Rippers and Medal qualified. True Rippers barely. So, yeah, switching onto that role and settling down was basically the key for their side. But on the other side, though, now I really want to talk about Icebox in general itself, because we have seen Revenant Esports, I mentioned it multiple times, have not had a very good win rate on that map. However, for the side of True Rippers, they played it 5 times. They have won it 3 different times, only losing it to a couple of times. So I still feel that even last time True Rippers won against Revenant, so True Rippers should have a little bit of an edge onto that map, and they're going for that double initiator composition against the double sentinel of Revenant itself. So I think so True Rippers should be able to have it in the bag.
They should be, without a doubt. And you can clearly see, I guess, there are some technical issues going on towards the desk, so that's why we're taking our time over here. And the players as well, this also gives them a little bit of a chance. This also gives them a little bit of more time to sort of settle down and get used to the vibe that's currently around them, so they can once again later on focus up, right? Because imagine, if you're there in the arena, if you're seeing all the crowd in front of you, if it's a LAN tournament, it can really catch you off guard. But ladies and gentlemen, I guess because of these technical issues, it's time for us to toss to a short break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I wake up and I repeat, it's only me that I can be. I might drop a song a week. Let's go, 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 go.
Well, welcome back after that short break, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully the technical issues have been sorted out on the venue itself. But yeah, this also gives us a little bit of a room to talk about what the upcoming game plan is going to be. Now, as we know, we're going to be kicking things off with Icebox, and then the second map is going to be Bind, which both of these teams haven't played so far. So I want to see how things are going to be looking like on Bind. We're going to kick things off with Icebox, and True Rippers, they have been looking promising. So I'm a little bit worried for Revenue here.
I mean, if in case True Rippers have prepared Bind really well, so I still think it could potentially be a situation where True Rippers might steal the series away. Because yeah, as you mentioned, Revenant, the Icebox has been shaky and they did lose to True Rippers last time. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how things will eventually pan out, because this is potentially one of the first few times where I have noticed the map veto could potentially favor the opponents.
I mean, you've got a solid point right there. As you mentioned, the map veto definitely can't favor the opponents, which is going to be True Rippers. But then you cannot forget, Revenue Esports is one of those teams that sort of likes to rely heavily on their mechanics too. And if they're winning those duels, then what else can really stop them, right? At the end of the day, no matter how many strategies you use, it's always going to be boiling down to those duels. And if those duels are being lost by the team in the front side, then it's a big problem. And Revenue Esports, somewhere down line, they have got a mechanical heavy lineup. SK Rossi in the roster. Then you've also got Severine, DOS9, a man who's been just topping the charts all the time. Do I really need to say a lot? But then on the opposite side too, are you Disrupt? Specifically, Disrupt is going to be my main focus here. If Disrupt pops off in a really good fashion, things can be really solid for them.
I want to look at Deathmaker, man. I really want to see this man pull out his rays and then show us. And which better map than Bind to bring your race satchels out and use the showstopper right on the faces of your opponents? You love to see that happen, right?
I mean, I still remember Deathmaker all the way back 2-3 years back, man. This was the man who used to play Raze on that Bind map, and that's what you used to do, bro. Just satchel back in the site, just make some poppy plays happen and impress every single person that's watching the stream. That's what Deathmaker's known for. One thing is for sure, this man is going to be going for that Raze on Bind. That's for sure. But I want to see how the adjustment's going to be looking like from the rest of his teammates. At the end of the day, it's also going to be down to those set plays, right? If they set Deathmaker up for perfection, even if Deathmaker gets killed trying to enter the side, it's all going to be the backup. How well you're able to back it up, how good your traits are going to be, and make sure you're not really going for those dry peaks, because we're probably going to be seeing a lot of those today.
And that's where Disrupt, Techno, they are going to come into play, right? Along with RU as well, and Helef, of course, the IGL man himself, because they need to trade their players once they enter in those sites. But, I mean, dry peaks, I'm not quite really sure, because there's the fact about how Gecko is also utilized. You've got that refreshable flash,
Gecko.
right? You can utilize that flash multiple times now. You can pick it up as many times as you want. So maybe they might flash peek on every corner.
I'm not gonna lie, Sky's nerf sort of hit me as well when I saw that you cannot refresh the Sky flashes anymore. That was like a big nerf right there. A big nerf hammer on top of Sky. But then later on, once again, Gecko was sort of revived now. I want to see the Gecko's utilization, not just in the map of Split, not just in the map of Sunset, maybe in some other maps as well. I want to see how well these guys adapt and use those new compositions that can bring up so many more possibilities. I want to see the Harbor Viper composition too. Bring in something new in the mix, because we've seen a lot of those Viper omens.
I love the Harbor Viper compositions, and I'll be honest, when they released Harbor, this was the kind of composition I first thought of, like that. What if you actually run the Harbor Viper onto those maps wherein Viper is basically the staple pick? You can try and pull in a Harbor as well, use that double controller to open up a lot of space for yourself and deny a lot of room to your opponents themselves. And that's the kind of comms that I would be looking forward to, specifically on the map of Icebox. That is one of the best compositions that all the other teams out there use.
I mean, specifically talking about with how the intensity in the first match is going to be, I would really love to see the duelist pop off. Let's be honest, at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to the entry fraggers as well. There will be flashes in the backlines. If the entry fragger is able to get one, or maybe even the chain up kill on the second one, the site can be opened up quite easily. But then,
Yes.
once again, if the entry fragger is not able to pop off in that good of a fashion, if the entry fragger is having a tough day, which is of course DOS9, then things can be quite a bit of a problematic factor.
All
Now,
right.
speaking
Thank
of
you so
Revenue
much for that,
Esports,
lovely casters, Spartans and Fritz. But हाँ, जनता नहीं, Revenant के supporters हैं मेरे साथ, मेरे को audience पे मिले. How you doing? How you feeling seeing your team on stage?
Very good. And I am supporting Revenant Esports. I feel like SK Rossi will dominate the arena.
अच्छा, अभी कास्टर्स कह रहे थे ट्रू रिपर्स बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट लग रही है, अपनी टीम का कॉन्फिडेंस अब आप बढ़ाओगे. आई हैव अ लॉट मोर पीपल सपोर्टिंग रेवेनेंट. आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू गाइस जॉइन मी एज वेल. ट्रिकी भाई, आप बहुत दूर बैठे हो मेरे से, इधर आओ. आपसे भी जानना चाहूंगा. सो लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, वी हैव ट्रिकी विद अस. ये आइस बॉक्स प्रैक्टिस हो गई पूरी?
क्या?
आइस बॉक्स प्रैक्टिस डन कंप्लीट?
यस
वीटो में आ गया है थोड़ा सा.
यस, लोग रेडी नहीं है जो उनको दिखने वाला है.
ये देखने में मजा आएगा आपकी आइस बॉक्स पे होता क्या. Because we heard this during the group stage, they were practicing it, उसी वजह से पिक हो रहे थे. But how confident are you about this match?
I couldn't hear.
How confident are you feeling about this match?
I'm feeling pretty confident. Like my team has always been dominating, so I'm confident since the start.
He has been confident since the start, and hopefully we get to see you perform as well. Hopefully. We are going to be hopeful for that. But ladies and gentlemen, ये Revenant के supporter थे. अब और लोगों से बातचीत करते हैं. Hello sir, what's your name?
My name is Arun.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. Thank you for asking. बहुत कम लोग पूछते हैं. But how are you feeling about this Oman Valorant Challenges South Asia, and who are you supporting?
I am supporting True Rippers today, but it's really great feeling out here. First LAN in Pune, Valorant LAN. They are too much excited for the fun. Go win True Rippers!
Right, go win True Rippers from the fans of True Rippers. Revenant भी अपने टीम को लेके, Revenant के फैंस भी अपनी टीम के लिए काफी ज्यादा एक्साइटेड है. लेकिन मैचेस में अब क्या होगा वो हमें थोड़ी देर में पता चलेगा. इन द मीनवाइल I'm gonna still look for a few more interesting people to interview, but फ्रंट रो के पास अब आता है. फ्रंट में जो लोग बैठते हैं उनसे बात करना बहुत जरूरी होता है. Hello, how are you doing?
Nice, very.
I feel you are very invested कि you want to watch the game. Who are you supporting?
Actually, I'm neutral, but Revenant को ज़्यादा support कर रहे हैं.
And who's your favorite player on the Revenant side?
Obviously, SK Rossi.
Who's the second favorite player?
Helef.
On the True Ripper side, by the way. But thank you so much. And एक बारी जोर से Revenant के लिए cheer from all of you guys. Do something, Tricky. Do something.
Let's go, Revenant!
With that, I guess, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the action. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna jump into the game, but उसके लिए हम लोग चलेंगे एक बार फिर से हमारे casters के पास. So once again, over to Fritz and Spartus.
want to witness once in your life. And these players, these guys that are currently sitting in the venue, they're definitely having a lot of good time. And now, speaking about the players, as we know, we're going to kick things off on Icebox. The last time when these two teams faced off against each other on Icebox, True Rippers was the one who came through victorious with 13-9 scoreline. One thing is for sure, after that, Revenue Esports is not one of those teams that's going to be sitting down peacefully, even they have been working a little bit hard on their Icebox.
I mean, that's what even Tricky mentioned, that, yeah, they have been practicing on that, but we are not ready for what's to come. And that always gets me excited to try and witness and try to decipher, what they're trying to cook. But one thing that I really love is the fact that there's that octopus toy, which has got 2 different moves. I really want to get one for myself, but yeah, at the end of the day, you would always get really excited to see how things will eventually roll out in that map itself, in that match itself. And there we go, Revenant now having their time of discussion.
It's the LAN event, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta get pumped up for yourself. DOS9 as the man who is currently been playing the duelist role. Paradox, someone who's been doing that flex role. On the opposite side, we've also got Severine doing quite a fantastic job in the roster. Like the missing piece of the puzzle. He's finally found himself in the groove, and he's able to perform up to the mark. Revenue Esports, they seem locked in and ready. The same thing can be said for the opponents as well. True Rippers. Now, the only thing we're waiting off is the Icebox to start.
I mean, Severine on that controller is going to be, again, one of the crucial pieces of that puzzle, because normally, whenever we've seen the side of Revenant on the map of Icebox itself, they go in for that double sentinel setup skills on that Killjoy, Paradox on the Sage. Paradox skills, they do have some ups and downs on that map, but it's fine. DOS9 always kinds of perform. Severine performs, as you mentioned, the missing piece of the puzzle. You always want to look forward to how he's going to lurk upon that Viper, how he's going to play along with that one single controller. Because here's the thing, if you've got a double controller, you can go for the default Viper wall. If not, you sometimes have to invest the Viper wall on the opposite side. So it kind of is always fun to try and decipher what they're up to. But yeah, happy faces all around the board, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's what we like to see. A good mental before moving on inside of the game. And as long as the players are going to be feeling at the top of their world, that's all that matters, right? It's all about getting the confidence high up, because in the LAN event, usually there's a lot of pressure when you see the people in front of you, when you see the crowd cheering for your opponents or maybe for yourself. There's always going to be one of those chances where your palms are going to be sweaty. It's really up to these players how well they deal with the pressure and how well their coping mechanism is going to be inside of the game. As we have seen SK Rossi being on the international stages, he's got so much experience that he brings into Revenant Esports, while on the opposite side of things, for True Rippers, they still need to face off in some of the biggest competition yet. Maybe this can be a possibility where they can move up in the competition even more.
That's one of the most important factors as well. The experience that always comes out on the table and the potential of growth. We always love to see whenever those experienced players, they come out in the local events itself and then try to utilize that and show us, basically help the growth of the entire esports community. Rossi, being on that Pacific stage, is now going to utilize that experience on the VCSA stage itself. So yeah, it's honestly really good to see the man back in the home grounds and in the home action itself, because it has been a learning experience, not just for the players of Revenant, but also for their opponents, trying to figure out how things normally work out in that Pacific League itself, or at least what kind of competition is there on that table. But here's the fact, right? When normally we used to watch all these teams previously, we did see that there still needs to be some rushing that needs to be done. But now these teams, they kind of seem ready for the action.
I mean, I just want to see Revenant Esports, specifically Paradox. I want to see how well his flex roll is going to be looking like. And I want to see how well Revenant Esports are ready this time for this Icebox, considering last time when they lost out against True Rippers, it might be something that this time it might just add on a little bit of more pressure on Revenant Esports. But it's really up to them and how well they cope up with this entire pressure that's going to be in front of them. We did see the players move inside of the game. As we move on forward to the Agent Select, the Select's going to be in front of us. Disrupt on that Gecko, interesting. Helef on the Sova, Deathmaker on the Jet, Techno on the Viper, and RU towards Killjoy.
So here's the thing, whenever it's the map of Icebox, it's always Disrupt who plays the Gecko, and Helef, he kind of shifts back on that Sova. If it's any other map, you will always see Helef on the Gecko itself and Disrupt probably pulling out a breach. Yeah, but on the other side, it's a Harbor Viper composition. I told you I was waiting for this. I would really wanted to see that. They would always go with double sentinel, but they're finally settling in with the double controller composition. And I really want to do some, nerdy stuff dump in, but I will wait for the map to start and then I'll go in it.
Harbor Viper composition, ladies and gentlemen.
I love it.
It does seem like Revenant Esports are quite ready for this entire matchup, considering they have brought in some last moment changes to the playing roster. Now I want to see how this Agent Select is really going to be affecting the gameplay, not just to themselves, also the opponents. Because True Rippers, they've got something new to adapt on forward to. Even from the side of True Rippers, this Gecko composition was played in the past against Revenant Esports. So Revenant Esports, they might just have a lot more predictable factors.
But here's the thing, it's a double initiator up against a double controller, and you may never know, may the best team prevail, as we'll be jumping into the map of Icebox itself, ladies and gentlemen. Pistol round and one of the heavenly matchups that we've been waiting for. Deathmaker up against SK Rossi.
Exactly, True Ripper starting things off on defense and Revenant kicking things off on the attack. Let's see who's going to be the one to get the first round in their hands. 30 seconds for the first pistol round, a quick kickoff. skills on that Sheriff. We see DOS9 on the Ghost. Let's get Rossi on the Sheriff as well. Off the rip, you can see the confidence clearly on the side of Revenue Esports as players. They are straight up just booking it for the Sheriff, specifically Skills and Rossi, really just relying heavily on their aim in this pistol round, which is quite understandable. And then on the opposite side, it's RU to start things off, all with the Sheriff. Now, this really brings things to quite an interesting factor. These Sheriffs, of course, they can be a big deal breaker for the opponent, but also for yourself sometimes.
You always need to land at a massive value with that Sheriff itself because, yeah, a massive investment. You've got nothing left in the bank. You've got no shields, no utilities whatsoever. So that's about it. But on the end of the spectrum, we'll finally be almost jumping into the pistol round itself. We're stopped at 0 seconds. Talk about small pause, patience. I'd love to see how even Viper Fall has not been invested yet.
And yeah, I mean, you spoke of the Viper Wall, and Paradox is ready to just instantly put it towards B. And I guess still we're just waiting for some things to get sorted out. Hopefully they do get sorted out as quick as possible. Every single person is currently waiting, not just in the venue, even the people that are currently watching it online. Just waiting for the game to begin and the first round to kick off, because that's going to be the momentum setter for one of those teams. And then if a team's able to run away with the pistol, that means even the upcoming round's going to be won by them, which will be the anti-eco. So yeah, it's going to be a back-to-back rounds. So pistol round matters a lot for the pressure to get lifted off.
The early momentum. And Valorant, we all know, is a game of momentum. If in case you've got a couple of rounds for yourself, it is almost evident that you will get at least 1 or 2 more. Yes, one of the main reasons is because of the opponent's economy, but at the same time, once you get going, once you're feeling your aim in the palm of your hand, you kind of always hit those nasty shots as well. And it kind of works out for your team. But yeah, breaking the momentum, counter-strategizing, it also becomes a part of that mid-game. And how important that mid-game is going to be is something that we will see now in a Harbor Viper composition itself. Because the mid-game timing of those walls to go up, you basically give a very small window to your opponent of almost, it's even less than 5 seconds. And then the wall will just go up again. So you've got to work your execute in those 5 seconds. It becomes really difficult. And that's why it's one of the most solid compositions. But yeah, countering that is going to be the key factor, how True Rippers are going to try to win this one map itself. But yeah, even so, Venka sitting out there, he's going to be waiting for his own matchup. But it's again a good opportunity for him to try and figure out what Revenant are going to do on Icebox.
Exactly. It's just called reading your opponents before your game starts, but yeah, it's not exactly their opponent's playing, but maybe in the future, of course, they're going to cross paths. Grey Fox has been one of those teams that is being sort of coming up to the mark. They have been impressing all of us, and you guys can see the audience as well. As I mentioned, they're definitely having a great time in the venue. They're having the time of their lives. Every single person's having big smiles on their faces. We see a good mixture of Revenant and True Rippers fans, but Revenant Esports' fans are a little bit too much because they've had a flawless run in the group stage, in the league stage. So they're currently the one with the advantage in this entire matchup that's going to be happening. But if you look at the map veto, it's also favoring the players of True Rippers. So at this point, anything can happen. But then Revenant Esports, they came in with some last-moment changes with some Harbor Viper composition. And the funny part is, in the pregame segment itself, we were speaking about the Harbor Viper composition. We were saying that we want to see something new. We want to see this Harbor Viper composition. And it's not like they're playing this composition for the first time. They've also played this composition in the past. So I want to see how the adaptations are going to be like.
Maybe in the scrims, because again, this composition does require you to play around with that timing. So how well you practiced it, how well you mastered it, it always comes down as one of the main reasons for making or breaking a round. But yeah, on the other side of the spectrum as well, you kind of love to see these changes. Even if it's a last minute change, you always get excited because I love this composition. And it is exactly as Tricky mentioned. There are some things that are going to happen that no one is ready for. And this comp tells us exactly that story. So yeah, it's going to be difficult for the side of True Rippers. But yet again,
here we go.
We'll just have to wait and see how this thing is going to pan out, because True Rippers are on the defense. It's going to be Revenant who will be on that attack.
Exactly. Even you guys in the chat can predict which team do you guys think is going to be the one to prevail this time and come through victorious. Will it be Revenant Esports moving it forward to the round 2 of the upper brackets, or will it be True Rippers doing the same and sending Revenant Esports to the lowest bracket? Anything can happen, so many possibilities, and here we go. We kick things off with a pistol round, and off the rip, we see a heavy presence from Revenant Esports towards A, but still the indecisive nature now starts to kick in. It's time to linger around, get some information, but on the defensive side of things, even these guys are getting quite aggressive. Deathmaker catches the first player off guard, skills taken off. Even RU follows it up instantly, and this is where Revenant Esports in the first round, they're starting to crumble down. They've got the site control in the hands, their position's compromised as well, but at least the plant's going to be there. Now in the post plant, they need to play it flawlessly.
It was kind of ring around the rosy happening because True Rippers took a lot of space directly towards the B crane and then moved forward towards the spawn, wherein Revenant just went in for the adaptation, and Paradox now trying to equalize the numbers does not win the second. It's RU who comes out on top.
Oh, Severine moving up, but there's too many players just peeking at him, and that's it. The first round's going to be collected by True Rippers. Nicely done. I like that push and pull strategy that they did. 3 players pushing in from the B main all the way towards the spawn, catching one of the players off guard. That's a great way to start things off, right? And we mentioned this as well. If you get the pistol round in your hands in a good fashion, that can really bring you back up on the board. And that can also be a little bit of a pressure subsider.
Yeah, because again, I love how True Rippers played that round. Took space towards B. Revenant adjusted to that quickly. Went in from under tubes, directly planted a B. But the duels went in for True Rippers, and Deathmaker is popping off. So a heavy weaponry advantage. Only Dostine having a Sheriff in hand. So it's going to be a full save for the side of Revenant. But yeah, I'm pretty sad that we are not seeing any Outlaw, unfortunately.
Oh, this time we're seeing some quick moves, but then Disrupt on the Bulldog. He's a man ready with his crosses trains, just waiting for those players to straight up walk into it. And that's what's happening. Revenant Esports just funneling in the opponent's crosshairs. They don't stand a chance. It's going to be a quick, flawless mowdown.
Just as you mentioned, and how everyone predicted, a simple, solid round for the second one. And now it's going to be a bonus being played. Though I would still say it is a very solid bonus for True Rippers, because if you're Revenant, you wanted to get as many weaponries off of the hands of True Rippers as possible, and True Rippers went in for a flawless round. So a Guardian in hand, they've still got a Vandal as well in the hands of RU, 3 Bulldogs, a couple of them paired up with a half shield. So I think so it still is a very doable round. And the more rifles Revenant are going to lose, the more expensive it becomes. And it's again like pistol round. Oh my god, what a dash back.
Oh no. This is what I was literally about to mention as well. The Viper cannot afford to get caught instantly towards man, and she does get caught. The main controller now taken off from the game. Adaptations need to be on point from True Rippers. Post-plant situation is something that can definitely put on this pressure, and considering it's the buy round, True Rippers really do desperately need it in their hands to break the economy of the opponent and just to make sure that the opponents are going to be trapped in a big economical loop. Rossi peeks out, gets the first headshot, looking to line up the second one as well. He might just do that, but gets denied by Disrupt. But then skills to just click things off and close it off.
Yeah, just getting a couple of weaponries off of their hands though. They kind of wanted to play just like how they played in the pistol round, but True Rippers, this time that reveal that came in from the SK Rossi himself. Yeah, I was just searching for the name. The reveal that came in from SK Rossi on that Sova, it was massive. Deathmaker was able to dash out, but yeah, again, Techno got caught in that situation, and eventually they could not win out or close out that round, but only a couple of rifles lost for Revenant, so they do not have any problem. And looking at the setup this time, yet again, Revenant want to play towards that B. A slow pace round. Operator in the hands of Deathmaker. Rossi finds a value on the Vandal itself, and I believe it's time to go in for that execute as everyone's just going back. High tide goes up. Along with the
Yeah.
Viper Orb as well. A good one to deny any kind of push as well. But look at the space being taken. Are you still stands
Oh
his
my
ground?
God.
Cove comes in place along with the snake bite in the back. Are you low in HP? But a massive
Oh, no.
reveal and it gets the spike down.
Yeah, he also drops down the spike in the open now. That's a big problem. The players still looking for to funnel in towards the side. The defenders, they're struggling. It's a 2v3. Anything can happen up till now. Went for the fake plant as well. The spam's going to be there too. Rossi looking for to back away. He knows there's a lot of threat lingering on towards the B side, and there is definitely going to be that resistance. Operator in the hands of Rossi. Oh, the first peek from Hella could have been quite deadly. If he was able to catch SK Rossi off guard in that moment, things could have been so different. But Revenue Esports, they really need to make it quick. There's not a lot of time left on the clock. Rossi's still all the way in the back lines. And oh my god, Hella with a quick 2-piece on the board. Shuts down Rossi and Paradox on the way. Now it's all down to skill. And he does not have a lot of HP as well. This post-plant scenario, you can just imagine the amount of pressure that's currently there on the line. And Skills is still just playing around with his food. Position and compromise Skills. This is such a brilliant repositioning. And the man's got no clue. Skills still on the site, just posted up. Beautiful stuff from Skills.
What an idea to have with the position that Helef had. He would not have known that the reposition was actually towards the spike. He got that round for his team. That was such a brilliant way to perform. But really, I mean, when he was playing in towards that backside, he was being such a nuisance. He needed to be dealt with. But yet again, he won the fight against Severin. He got taken down. And that was one of the reasons why we went down to the last 4 seconds. But that pause of Revenant worked out really well for them. However, he left almost bringing that back from the brink. But this time around, they want to change setup a little bit. Want to progress directly towards the A where they have not shown a lot of presence yet.
Yeah. And we're also seeing the same wall from both the sides, right? The Viper wall towards B. Then the defending wall towards A from the Viper 2. Heavy presence this time from True Rippers towards the A side. Pretty much going for a stack. It's a gamble stack that they're going for. And if it is going to be a B take, then once again, they're going to try to play it on the complete retake scenario. So far, Revenue Esports playing things off on patience, just showcasing as much patience as possible.
Yes.
Outdrawn out to collect some information, and there we go. The first pick's now being found. That's going to be the information feeder right there. Severin's position's compromised as well. Some are down line, but Severin cannot afford to peek out once again. Paradox there to catch Techno off guard. B-side's completely fallen in the hands of Revenue Esports as they stroll across the B-side. And now probably Revenue Esports looking forward to back away from A2. One of the mans being caught in the front. SK Rossi. Oh, he's only taken down to 40 HP. This could have been so bad for him. If he would have lost that AR, this would have been a big problem.
Yeah, that is true, but the lurk was even better, and the reposition from Skills works out really well for his team. Undertube cleared out, it's only Disrupt remaining. Revenant played this round so very slow, and they again went in for their default Viper wall directly towards the B, showing that they might have exactly the same strategy, but then went in to show some presence towards A as well. With the high tide up, throwing in the cascade as well, you knew that they just want to play in for picks because they had both Skills as well as Paradox invested towards B to try and find the pick on that aggression. And it worked out brilliantly. So now the adjustment needs to come in from True Rippers because, yeah, they're facing some problems. The pistol and the anti-eco, those are the only 2 rounds they were able to get on this defense.
Yeah.
And since it's Icebox, you really want to get at least 4 rounds or bare minimum 3 rounds on the defense itself.
True that. And considering so far Revenue Esports winning a streak of rounds is really putting True Rippers in a big state of discomfort. Yeah, in this round they find the pick off the rip, which is a good news. DOS9 taken down. That's going to be the entry fragger. Now Revenue Esports, they need to pull out some different strategy from their books. Time to pull it back. Skills as well from the top, looking forward to connect with this off angle. First pick being found. Deathmaker's going to be the man to click up this time. 2K from him. And yeah, even the third one follows up. Deathmaker's going massive from this angle. He switches the gun at the wrong time. I'm not sure what he was doing there. Out in the open, goes for the switch. Gets taken off instantly. And then Paradox now, once again, a chance to clutch it off. 1v3, we've seen a lot of these clutch happen in the league stages. maybe the same thing can happen once again. And it's all to Paradox. We know this man's got the aim and the capability to make something like this happen. Oh, no.
Trying to find an angle through the wall, but could not do that. Helef gets the pick on Paradox, and that's another round for True Rippers. The moment we mentioned they need a round for their side, they were able to get that. And this time, Revenant went in towards that A pick, right? They went in towards that A shot again, where they were caught one after the other. That's a good adjustment coming in from True Rippers. However, most of it was them winning out their own duels and Deathmaker just popping off in that previous one. It's got the blades up as well, but on the other side, Revenant, they've got almost a full stack. A couple of away from the Blade Storm. They've got the Reckoning, they've got Hunter's Fury, coupled up with the Viper Spit along with Lockdown. So it's a full-fledged execute this time towards the A side. Maybe going in for a fast pick. And what a good lineup yet again for the Shock Dart. Because
Solid
they knew
stuff.
Helef was one away from the Hunter's Fury. They knew he would go for the orb. And he's down to 44 HP.
Yeah. Oh, ult out towards the side to make sure that the side's going to be emptied out now. And all the defenders, they're just going to back off. Try and play this one on the retake. And DOS9, a perfect lineup that was. Disrupt gets the exit onto that player, but does that really matter? The entire site now just opened up inside out. Even the Viper's Pit being invested, it's looking next to impossible to make this retake happen. You might as well try to go for the save if you're True Rippers. Good snake bite though. It's gonna force out the player from that corner. Paradox still just in an off angle. The position gets revealed. Deathmaker catches Rossi, but now it's going to be the guessing game. Fake tap was there on the spike. Paradox on the top, just waiting for someone to walk in his crosshair. Paradox position gets snuffed out too. A 1v2! Out and over, the possibilities now once again back in the hand, but then Skills snatches them away.
What a close round. It basically got me directly up on my heels and on my toes at that point because it was so very close yet again. I loved the setup that came in from Revenant, but the adjustment from True Rippers was even better. DOS9 popped off up on Heaven, but yeah, at the same time, you also saw Disrupt answering back really well. However, the econ is now broken for True Rippers. They've got a couple of Guardians. Maker is pulling out a hero operator in this one. Then a couple of players of his team are playing on a classic. Takes the space directly towards the A. Hunter's Fury being invested.
Okay.
It's gonna be pushed back. How did he even catch Severine with that? That
Important
is just
pick.
a brilliant one.
Really important pick. Even the classic able to find DOS9. I'm not exactly sure what DOS9 was doing there, but they cannot afford to lose out on those easy duels like that. Paradox has managed to sneak himself in so deep, and now all he needs to do is just wait in the off angle. Time to catch at least one of the players off guard. Paradox spots out the gun barrel, sees the player moving up. And yeah, that's going to be easy. 2 picks right there. Revenant Esports, these lurks are able to find so much value. And I like the fact that we're seeing the setups being changed all the time. We're not seeing the similar stuff being repeated over and over again. Good tap from Disrupt. Catches the man off guard. But is that really going to restore the life back in the hands? That's what I want to know. And yeah, another man of the front lines. Operator able to find that value. Paradox with a 4K looking forward to claim the ace as well. If he does get the ace, that's going to be an easy operator retrieved in the hand, which can bring up so many better future possibilities for Revenant Esports. And I like the fact that Paradox is also trying to play this one as safe and sound as possible. Not really overcommitting, just keeping himself back there in the race. And perfectly done. Ace from Paradox.
Nice.
What a way to start the map
Paradox
off.
in the
My
farm,
goodness. Right in the 8th round itself, the IGL getting the ace. I mean, that's exactly what you would love to see. Severine having a tough time in this one, but does not matter. Skills and Paradox are popping off like anything. And with that ace, he's basically just a few more points away as well from his Viper Spit again. That's going to be the second one in the attack itself. And they've still got the lockdown. They've still got the Hunter's Fury, Blade Storm. On the other side though, apart from the Hunter's Fury, they've got a full house. So this round could eventually get very messy. And yet again, a fast play coming in from True Rippers.
Oh my god.
Nah, he's not going to find anyone.
Hold on.
Everyone's
Deathmaker
going
actually
back.
smoked off the turret. So he's definitely going to find one. They've got no clue. Deathmaker did not break the turret. Instead, he smoked it off. So there was no sound cue given to Revenant Esports that there's a push coming through from A. And he catches one of the players off guard. And look at the amount of info Techno's able to find as well. He can hear so many footsteps around himself. He gives his position away with that move. But considering Techno is all by himself on that mark, DOS9's able to catch Deathmaker all the way to the back lines. The free flow from Revenant is looking super solid. Lockdown was invested from both the sides in their Vico. It's time to completely vacate the site. And this is where the man back lines will be able to find one more. Yep. The possibility is denied.
They were searching for where the exact spike location is. But yeah, they were able to find it out. It was a good adjustment coming in from True Rippers. They were playing it pretty slow on towards the A side. So change the pace up with Deathmaker on that Blade Storm. And he was also able to find the value, disrespecting the possibility of anyone being there. Moving forward, got the first one, and then eventually Revenant pivoted up directly towards the B, trying to get the plant down. It was a good post-plant position as well. But again, back and forth trades happened. DOS9 got a few picks of his own. But at the end of the day, it was True Rippers coming forward with the adjustment. Both the lockdowns were used. So now it's going to be potentially a Techno's Viper's Pit investment. But the question is, where is he going to invest it? Maybe towards the A, block off that choke point, and make sure that his team has got some extra members stacking up towards the other part of the map. Because Revenant kind of wants to play default. Yep, that's where the pit is.
Judge and Techno. In that Viper's Pit, one thing is for sure, the A side's on a complete lockdown. You cannot move up now. Looking towards mid, you've got Paradox lurking around as well. And Skills there to back him off instantly. If things do go south for them, Hellfighter looking forward to at least overextending that mark. His position gets compromised, but he's still safe somehow. He will be able to back away. No issues in that regard. Severine trying to go for the plan. He's going to go for that fake tap. Baits out a couple of shots. With those shots, also the positions will be revealed off the defenders. So even that position's going to be super important. Once again, Paradox catches one of the players off guard. I just don't understand how he's able to free flow all across the map so much. The amount of map control that's been given away to Revenant. It's a really big problem for True Rippers. They need to be a little bit more proactive. Just look at Paradox. He's playing in their own territory. What is going on?
Man has just been let loose. Severine giving out the calls and Paradox making the plays like anything. That is just mind-blowing stuff coming in from their side. It's literally just as you mentioned, the amount of space that has been given to Revenant. They're just utilizing all of that. However, I would still say, since again, it's the map of Icebox, True Rippers have already got 4 rounds on defense on board. All they need is just one more round, and that should be it. They should be able to get more rounds on the attack. So it could potentially be another save round, given their economy is just not at all pretty. The 3 players not even able to afford any kind of Phantoms or Vandals. But yeah, this timeout potentially could give them a chance to break this momentum of back and forth that has been happening and figure out what Revenant is exactly doing in all of those plays wherein they've been continuously going in for those lurks. They're gonna have to just slow down the pace at this point, or maybe try to repeat what they did back in the pistol round. Because they haven't been doing that for quite a few rounds. They could potentially go aggressive towards the B. They've shown A aggression already. So that might be the name of the game.
I mean, he's been getting the kitchen control consistently. And that's a problem. Then he flows all the way from kitchen towards the spawn. He gets so much information towards Snowman, towards the entire spawn area. And that's now really starting to be a big problem for True Rippers. They need to find a way to patch that hole up. And so far, True Rippers, they're not able to find a cure to that problem. In this round, Disrupt is the man. Looking forward to welcome those 3 players who are right in the front. And DOS9 is probably going to be the one to get the first engagement in his hands. There's a man just holding that left angle. A good mosh pit. The players will need to back away, at least for now. There is a bit of a delay being added. Good pick from Disrupt. This is what I exactly like about the man. He's so disciplined, yet so mechanically skilled, that he actually does manage to connect shots like that, and it keeps on helping him over and over again. Aldrone's going to spot the players. Now they know one thing for sure, and that is going to be that A-side's in the takings, and they're probably going to try to go for the plant.
but they kind of have to just wait for their utilities to refresh because True Rippers could flood in the site as quickly as possible, and they also want Paradox to potentially find a pick, but everyone on the side of True Rippers have already rotated directly towards the side. Cove goes in, as again we're gonna see the thrash used up. He catches one, but that's again inside the Cove. LF being super safe. That's a pivot potentially. Paradox taking
Oh
a
my
lot of
God.
space, should be able to get one, but wait a second, they've only got 10 more seconds remaining. They've got to get the plant down, and that's the spike out in the open.
Oh no, rough luck. But still they're moving it towards the B side, and he will have just enough time, maybe. Oh my God, he does. Barely gets the plant down. Revan Esports still in the race inside of this round itself. Things could have been so south. He barely got the plant down within milliseconds. And now in the post plant somewhere down line, there's a vibe that just gives it off to me that maybe it's going to be Revan Esports with the advantage. Rossi, if he's able to get even one pick, things are going to be super good. Wingman's going to go for the defuse, and no. Oh, okay, Wingman being destroyed. That's a good news, but the Thrash is going to cast the last man, and that's it. It's done for. Skills getting knifed.
Not a knife. Not a knife. No way, Disrupt, you do that. No way. I mean, that's potentially given. If your Thrash hits and it's the last person standing, you are going to knife them. But yeah, what a thrifty round from the side of True Rippers. And
Oh, but look at this. Hold on. They did get that previous round in the hands, but now, Revan Esports, they've got the Viper's Pit and also the Hunter's Fury online. So this is where Revan Esports have another chance to close it off in a 7-5 fashion, which is probably going to happen if they use these ults in a really good fashion and in a perfect time.
hopefully, because Paradox has been popping off, and this again could potentially be an A push coming in. But on the other side, we're also seeing Deathmaker take an aggressive stance.
Nicely
Oh,
done.
what a high tide
Whoa.
and he's taken down with the spam. Hunter's fully invested. Should
Side
get a tag on
clear.
the one at least.
साइड क्लियर हो गया.
Unfortunately, no.
At least they got the information that the backside's going to be cleared up. The screens, there's no one going to be there. Information flow, clearly
बहुत
quite
मुश्किल है
fluid.
retake करने का.
And Revenue Esports, Wipers
Oh,
Pit
yeah,
invested. They get the plant down as well. So the post plant is now completely secured off as well. Beautifully done, man. I mean, Revenue Esports, some of the executions that we're seeing from them, it's just incredible. Pushing in with the high tide. I just love that. And now Revenue Esports, considering it's time for them to just sit back, relax, and wait for the defenders to move up forward. It's a 3v4 scenario. Revenue with the man advantage. Toss9 catches one, now makes it a 2v4. Techno's quite softened up as well. I highly doubt Techno's going to stand a chance against DOS9 in this duel. And DOS9 is just going for a random spam. And there we go. Paradox to close things off into Techno.
DK catching him down to that one last HP, and eventually Revenant closing the round off, just as you predicted, mentioned. Both of those ultimates could potentially prove to be very well utilized. And again, it was Deathmaker playing aggressive, but the anticipation by Revenant that he could be there up on top, that's what helped them out to finish him off. And that high tide was absolutely perfect. He threw over the cascade as well just before taking Deathmaker down because he could not get any kind of vision. And with the spam, he was just caught down to the 11 HP. Then one bullet from Severin did the trick. But again, the sites have been swapped. I think so. True Rippers have done a phenomenal job on their defense. However, a Harbor Viper composition, it's difficult to find the timing to break through those constant wall setups. So I'm going to be interested to see how they'll be able to do it.
A Harbor Viper composition, it just has so much visual denying potential. Think about it. You've got the Viper wall. Then you've also got the Viper orb that you're, of course, going to be tossing up. There we go. The mid's now completely blocked off. So Revenue Esports, once again, there's no information if someone's moving up towards kitchen. For now, in this pistol round, if True Rippers are able to win it off, then we might just see a tie in the scoreline. But if True Rippers are not able to win it, well, then it's a big red flag right there. And we might just have the winners of the first match. I said might. There's a chance. Pulling off the comeback will be even tougher. The bigger the lead, the more the mental pressure.
Made so much noise directly towards B that everyone from the side of Revenant have rotated directly towards that. And the space that has been taken by Aryu, he's given all the information to his team. Has not even broken the KJ setup yet. So now they'll not have enough time to go in for a flood retake. That's a brilliant move by True Rippers. They will get the plant down, maybe not by the wingman. So Giga is going to do it himself. Disrupt will get that plant, but to get that flank protection, Deathmaker should be able to get one. But the anticipation from Revenant is also there. They're all moving in directly from the mid.
Massive flank, Deathmaker. If he's able to get even a quick two-piece on the board, it can mean so much for these players. Quick trades happening on the board. Paradox able to catch a two-piece. Skills catches him instantly, and Revenant Esports, it's a sweep out of nowhere. They were just ready with the mop on the site. A perfect retake. They also catch the man on the lurk. What else do you want? Revenant Esports just winning the majority of their duels against True Rippers. Straight up.
That's such a great retake from Revenant. I mean, the anticipation that someone could be there protecting the lurk. So everyone just decided to move on together from screens as well as directly from the ramps, were able to take them down one after the other, and Deathmaker's lurk timing, it was just a second too late, you could say, because he did not anticipate his team falling down on site so very quickly. So even though True Rippers, they were able to get that plant down, they just could not close it out in that post plan. Revenant now potentially going to increase their lead, and DOS9 is going to make sure they've got the lead in the numbers as well for this round.
Keep this thing in mind. We mentioned this too. If Revenant Esports, they win this pistol round in the second half, the lead will be too much. And the bigger the lead, the more the mental pressure. And right now, True Rippers is facing that mental pressure. Hopefully, they just do not succumb under it. Oh, position compromise. Techno. At least needs to back off. Oh, he catches a bullet from that Guardian. It's going to soften him up so much. Both those players just waiting around the corner to go for the peek. But DOS not doing the same thing, waiting for the players to just walk in his crosshairs. That one single peek might just reveal everything. And yes, that's what happened. Skills on the top with a quick mowdown.
The man is just ziplining up out in open on top of the players.
Eco frags.
Eco frags indeed. He could have threatened his own life at that point though, but I mean it did work out for them. So
I mean, there's a lot of teammates alive, so even if he does get taken down, it's not an issue.
True. And now they've got a judge in the hands of the IGL Severin himself. 600 creds on both, so he might not have enough to full bound to the next one if in case Revenant lose this round. Couple of Guardians. They've got a Vandal in the hands of Paradox, and the man has been fragging out like a madman. However, a full direct push as well. They anticipated the fast-paced push coming in from Revenant because they were on lower weaponries. Good adjustment from True Rippers.
Yeah, I mean, they did get the pick, but look at the damage dealt as well. Deathmaker and Aryu, down to 10 and 14 HP each. Techno finds Paradox. That's going to be another shorty that they get. And now there's going to be a last-minute rotation towards the B site. And somewhere down line, Rossi has predicted this rotation coming through. First goal, the second one as well, the third one lines up. Rossi! Humongous play from this man. Massive. Goes huge towards the site. And now he's also going to try to overheat a little bit. There we go. Fourth tap found. Rossi, someone stop this man on the tracks. If he's not being stopped, it's a big problem. Deathmaker catches him, but Deathmaker's too low. 10 HP on Lee. And look at this lurk. Look at this flank that's coming through. Skills. He's going to play this entire scenario perfectly. And Deathmaker, he misses the first opportunity. That's the opportunity. He had to close it off. But he whiffed those shots. Unfortunately, Deathmaker, he will lose that round. And that was all to the bonus round for Revenant Esports. Oh my god, what a big blunder that was from True Rippers.
What was that?
That was a madman play from Rossi. Getting 4 with that Guardian. And then Deathmaker missing out his perfect timing to catch skills off guard. That feels so unfortunate. He fired those bullets early on. Could not get the crosshair on the head first. Yes, those shots missed are definitely going to hurt the side of True Rippers now because that was their round to be found. But yet again, what a heroic play from Rossi. Up on top, doing God's work for his side. And yes, that's basically the bonus round for them. Should potentially give them the next one as well. The question is, will True Rippers
ये पांचवे में थोड़ा कैजुअल हो जाता है
आपको
रॉसी।
एडवांटेज मिल जाता है, आप 2v4 के अंदर आ जाते हैं, हर एक चीज आपके पक्ष में है। फिर एक हीरोइक प्ले आता है रेवेनेंट का, जब पैराडॉक्स एस
बट
निकाल
उसका
देते
माउस का
हैं,
क्या हुआ होगा
कर
यार
जाते हैं।
डीएम का, मेरे को
रॉसी
बताओ यार उधर।
वाइपर वॉल पुश करके 4 एलिमिनेट कर जाते हैं। इन हीरोइक्स को डिनाई करना आज ट्रू रिपर की सबसे बड़ी परेशानी रही है।
Yeah, that's true. True Rippers.
डीएम
आज
को
थोड़ा
लगा
सा कहीं
दो
ना कहीं
जिंदा है,
वो
नहीं
गार्ड डिपार्टमेंट के अंदर वीकनेस दिख रही है. Trades is where they are lacking a little bit. बड़े ये शेरिफ राउंड अकेले टेक्नो है जिनके पास वो स्पेक्टर अवेलेबल.
डीएम
सबसे बड़ी पुश
और क्या रॉसी बेबी।
जो ट्रू रिपर्स द टाइम किया जाएगा इन दैट ऑन द साइड। सिर्फ 10 एचपी छोड़ा उन्हें, लेकिन
एक्सक्यूज मी डीएम,
फिर भी नहीं मिला है।
अर्ली नंबर एडवांटेज बहुत बड़ा एडवांटेज है यहाँ पर. लेकिन मैप कंट्रोल देखिए. और ओह आई थॉट बी मेन पुश को मार्क कोई भी नहीं कर रहा है, बट टेक्नो वाज अवेयर अबाउट दैट पॉसिबिलिटी.
भाई 3 बंदे कहाँ मरे,
ट्रू रिपर्स आर लाइक यू नो
दिखे ही नहीं।
हमने एक प्लेयर को स्पॉट किया था, ए पे स्किल्स को स्पॉट किया था. लेट्स गो टुवर्ड्स बी.
डीएम लो तो दिखा बस।
ठीक गोली
3 बंदे डेड है भाई रेवेनेंट के।
The second, the third. That guy is cracked. He just gets the job done. और डेथमेकर पे 10 HP है. ये परेशानियों का पहाड़ टूटा हुआ. What for this? Give it to him. Deathmaker, we can hear the crowd. Hey, oh! Deathmaker still keeps the round interesting.
Still a 1v1.
The flank is not being expected.
बहुत आराम से है. The timing is crucial and Deathmaker shot. लेकिन शॉट भी हुए हैं यहाँ. स्केल्स रन गन भी करेंगे तब भी काम बन जाएगा. स्केल्स विद द परफेक्ट
हेलो
जिस काम को स्केल्स ने शुरू किया था उसको खत्म भी
भाई
करेंगे अपने ही गन के द्वारा.
भाई उसका माउस का थोड़ा कैसे हो गया मेरे को ये लग
के साथ
अबे डीएम क्या
10वां ऑन द बोर्ड और एक ऐसा राउंड जीता है जो ट्रू रिपर्स.
अरे उसका थोड़ा माउस का सीन हो गया मेरे को
इकोनॉमी गवा दी है.
इकोनॉमी नहीं उम्मीदें
भाई
भी
क्या मारा यार
ये
इसने.
क्या शॉट्स मारे हैं. ये मतलब एक प्लेयर वॉल पुश कर रहा है वाइपर का, उसके बाद 3 एलिमिनेट
और क्या रॉसी बेबी.
क्रेजी बाय रॉसी.
अगर रॉसी के अलावा वहां कोई भी खिलाड़ी होता तो उन्हें एस मिल जाता. बट
और मैं बहुत बोल रहे थे आप ट्रू रिपर जीतेंगे, अब बोल रहे हैं
कि सामने खिलाड़ी भले ही 10 एचपी पे.
मैंने बोला 2-1-2 4 किल तो मारता ही है. 5वें में थोड़ा
इन हीरोइक्स को डिनाई करना.
रिपर्स
डीएम को लगा 2 जिंदा है, नहीं
गार्ड डिपार्टमेंट के अंदर वीकनेस दिख रही है. ट्रेड्स इज वेयर दे आर लैकिंग अ लिटिल बिट. बड़े ये शेरिफ राउंड अकेले टेक्नो है जिनके पास वो स्पेक्टर अवेलेबल है. अदर देन दैट एवरीबॉडी इज जस्ट लुकिंग फॉर दोस वन टैप्स. स्लो कांटेक्ट अप्रोच अप टुवर्ड्स दैट ए साइड. और रेवेनेंट तो खुश है भाई, साइड के अंदर आप आ जाइए, हमारे पास पूरा सेटअप है. और टॉस साइड को जैसे रिटेक के अंदर वो एंगल पकड़ेगी, हर एक खिलाड़ी का शील्ड है स्पार्टस. एवरीबॉडी इज वन शॉट.
एग्जैक्टली ये सस्ती ऑपरेटर है इस गेम के लिए, क्योंकि जब भी सामने इकोनॉमी राउंड है, इको राउंड है, तब आउटलो वही काम करती है. उससे पहले हेले पैराडॉक्स का पहला फ्रैग हाल के नंबर्स एडवांटेज फिर से बनाया. नीड टू फाइंड द परफेक्ट टाइमिंग, वरना परेशानियां हो सकती हैं और टाइमिंग मिलेगी भी.
क्या
टेक्नो नेट इंस्टेंट लिया है और अब एक वेपन भी रिकवर स्पॉट में डालना शुरू किया. बट एचपी का परफेक्ट टाइम है उनके पास. साइड का कंट्रोल वो ले चुके हैं. द प्लांट विल गेट टेकन डाउन, लेकिन अब परेशानी में डाला जाएगा रॉसी को भी. अंतर जरूर दिया गया बट स्टिल फाइंड द फ्रैग डिस्टर्ब विद द ट्रेड. और लेट आते हुए टेक्नो, सारी जिम्मेदारियां उनके कंधों पे हैं, लेकिन रॉसी वो एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे. शट्स हिम डाउन.
अबे और लेट आता ना.
इट्स जस्ट शेरिस. और वहां पर
टेक्नो जब पता है तुझे तू
इस रीटेक को
स्पॉटेड है, इतना जल्दी क्यों जा रहा है.
उनके पास वो डैश अवेलेबल है
और लेट आ भाई.
द पीस दिस टुगेदर. मॉशपिट अवेलेबल है डिसरप्ट के पास, वो पोस्ट प्लांट रोकने के लिए. डॉस 9 बढ़िया फ्रैग है लेफ्ट के ऊपर. डिसरप्ट मॉशपिट डाल दी थी. द टाइम गेम नाउ स्टार्ट्स. रॉसी गेट्स द टैप. ऊपर से डॉस 9 स्पॉट किया है और शॉट्स भी मारेंगे.
हो गया.
चलिए क्लीन अप करवा दिया. टू क्लोज टू कंफर्ट. बट एट द एंड इट इज रेवेनेंट टू विन द राउंड.
पब्लिक हो गया ना.
बहुत अच्छा राउंड रेवेनेंट के लिए और उससे भी ज्यादा अच्छा राउंड डॉस 9 के लिए.
मुझे भी लग रहा है
ये कॉन्फिडेंस दिखा रहा है इस खिलाड़ी के अंदर. वो प्ले मेक करने से घबरा
चैट
रहे हैं.
800 लाइक हो सकते हैं गाइस.
क्लाउड बर्स्ट डालने के बाद इनफ टाइम
भाई कमेंट्री म्यूट करके तू कमेंट्री करना.
कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ डॉस 9 खेल रहे हैं और अपनी टीम के लिए वो राउंड भी सिक्योर करने में मदद कर रहे हैं. बट अब गेम का आखिरी राउंड रहने वाला है, क्योंकि सामने इकोनॉमी के लिए
चैट
का एक आखिरी
थोड़ा फुल स्क्रीन से हटा के थोड़ा लाइक्स कर दो यार.
रेवेनेंट की दाम मैप पॉइंट पे आ जाएगी.
जरूरी राउंड ट्रू रिपर्स. और उसके अंदर अल्टीमेट का भी हेल्प है. ट्रैश फॉर डिसरप्ट. यस, सो दैट इज समथिंग ट्रू रिपर्स कैन वर्क अराउंड विद. ऑपरेटर डॉस 9 की इसको हटाना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर बीमेन आपको
पिक ना करो.
ड्रोन है, डीजी है, देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ यूटिलिटी दैट कुड बी यूज्ड ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर एंगल इटसेल्फ.
अगर इसने ड्राइव पिक किया
कर रहे हैं कि किसी भी तरीके का अग्रेसिव
कोई है ही नहीं उधर
मैप के ऊपर
चाबी
देन
है
दे विल ट्राई टू टेक दिस बी मेन कंट्रोल अर्ली ऑन।
अच्छा ड्रोन ऑपरेटर को थोड़ा सा पुशबैक जरूर किया जाएगा, लेकिन डॉस9 भी कहां मानने वाले हैं। ब्लीचिंग करने के लिए आएंगे जरूर, येलो को और करा भी है जंप स्पॉट से एंगल स्पॉटेड, लेकिन अब डिसिप्लिन से खेलना है डॉस9 को, क्योंकि बी साइड की एंकर उनके कंधों पे डिपेंड करती है।
एग्जैक्टली अकेले ही है वर्चुअली, क्योंकि वो तो जो हार्बर है वो वॉल के पीछे फोर्स हो ही जाएगा। तो एसेंशियली टॉस साइड के ऊपर
नहीं ये बॉल बहुत गंदी है।
इस राउंड की टाइमिंग
अबे मिस किया इसने,
डॉट नहीं कनेक्ट कर पाए और रिकॉन डॉज कर दिया।
पता है वापस पिक करेगा।
नोबडी इज एक्सपेक्टिंग टॉस साइड एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, बट
क्यों बॉल?
उनका विजन हिंडर कर रही है।
अच्छा नहीं ठीक है वो मिस के
नहीं जाना है क्योंकि
भाई ये स्किल प्रोटेक्ट नहीं करेगा,
नहीं करेगा, इसको पता है यार बार एक
पता है इसको पता है। हाँ
स्किल्स बहुत अच्छे
भाई मेरे साथ स्किल्स मारेगा, बोला ना
भाई
बढ़िया एंगल है वो।
फॉल बैक नहीं हो सकता, बट इसमें को वी फाइंड द फ्रैग ऑन डॉस9 और टेक्नो ने पैराडॉक्स से गिरा के
हेलो
को पूरा ओपन कर दिया। सेवरीन की पोजीशन रिवील्ड एंड देन मेकर विद द वर्क, सेवरीन विद द ट्रेड बट हेलेफ नंबर्स को अपनी टीम के पक्ष में रखेंगे और एक 1v3 स्किल्स को फिर से धकेला जाएगा, जिसमें टेक्नो उनको गिरा के 2 रिपर्स को छठा राउंड दिलाएंगे।
चलिए एक जरूरी राउंड
डेटमेकर बहुत गुस्सा आता है।
क्लोज जरूर गया जहां पर
एक
वो
मैप चूज करके उनको रहा हाँ ना बे हरा दिया बे ने डीआर को।
नॉट टू फ्रैग आउट द प्लेयर जो कि क्लोज बैठा हुआ है, क्योंकि उनको भरोसा था वो पीछे टीम ट्रेड कर लेगी, दूर वाले को पहले मारा। छोटी
रेवेनेंट का पिक है बाबा,
फाइट होता है जो बहुत जरूरी रहता है। एंड ट्रू रिवर्स ऑन द बैक ऑफ इट गेट द राउंड अल्टीमेट भी नहीं यूज हुआ था। इस राउंड
बट मैं रेवेनेंट का पिक है,
पता है चैट में कुछ लिख रहा था तो मैं वो हो रहा था
जो 3 मैच अल्टीमेट, लेकिन रीटेक करने के लिए भी हां उनके पास लॉकडाउन है। फ्लैश को मैं अब इस्तेमाल करके देखना चाहूंगा कि किस तरीके से डिसरप्ट उस चीज का इस्तेमाल करते हैं। ऑल्सो अगर टू रिवर्स की बात करें वो बी साइड फेवर्ड कहीं ना कहीं खेल रहे हैं, टीममेट के लिए जाया जाता है, बार-बार वहां से कांटेक्ट लेते हैं। ऑल्सो इस बार आर यू होल्ड कर रहे हैं, एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं रेवेनेंट कुछ प्ले बनाना चाहेगा। रेवेनेंट बिल्कुल उनके ट्रैप में आई भी, लेकिन आर यू अपने शॉट लैंड करवा नहीं पाएंगे, बट फाइनली फाइंड द ब्लैक ऑन डॉस9।
क्यों पिक करना था वापस,
चल
इनफ रहने वाला है।
प्लांट का स्टार्ट करवाने की कोशिश है, बट आई थिंक वॉली फाइट इज टेकिंग।
अरे हेलो
1 मिनट ऑन द क्लॉक, तो कोई हड़बड़ी की जरूरत है नहीं यहाँ पर अभी भी। लॉकडाउन कैन आल्सो बी टैंक्ड आउट कंप्लीटली। बहुत हैवी इन्वेस्टमेंट है रेवेनेंट की तरफ से इन टर्म्स ऑफ अल्टीमेट। हंटर सीरी रॉसी ने अर्ली यूज कर ली थी, जिससे डेथ मेकर पे टैग जरूर मिला, बट नॉट ऑफ मच यूज। और अब देखिए ये रीक्लियर जो करना चाह रहे हैं टीममेट से, ये थोड़ा सा परेशान कर सकता है।
बढ़िया यार
हेलेफ विद द ट्रेड विद दैट हंटर सीरी स्किल्स, लेकिन वो एक्सपेक्ट नहीं हो रहे थे क्लोज येलो। 30 सेकंड्स ऑन द क्लॉक। ये जो लर्क है टेक्नो का, ये टाइमिंग पे पूरा का पूरा गेम रहेगा, प्लस टीममेट की फाइट हेलेफ विंस इट आउट। अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बैटल, क्योंकि अब सेवरीन वो अनकंफर्टेबल फील करने वाले हैं साइड के अंदर। टेक्नो गेट्स द परफेक्ट बैकस्टैब एंड टू रिपर्स कंपोजर के साथ ये साथ भरा।
अनदर गुड राउंड, और अब ट्रू रिपर्स धीरे-धीरे करके क्लोज आती जा रही है, क्योंकि रेवेनेंट के पास
उधर तकरीबन सही क्या होता है।
और अगर ट्रू रिपर्स की बात की जाए वेपनरी के साथ-साथ अल्टीमेट देखिए उनके पास।
एग्जैक्टली
चारों बड़े अल्टीमेट टू विन द राउंड। यहां तो गलतियां हो ही नहीं सकती ट्रू रिपर्स।
बस यही नहीं बोलना होता है स्पार्टस, क्योंकि हमने ऑलरेडी देख लिया इस गेम के अंदर एक
11-8 तो हो गया ये मैप, ठीक है क्योंकि वो इको पे है। 11-8 तो हो गया है मैप।
I don't want to reverse
इसके बाद
एक मार्शल शेरिफ ऑल अक्रॉस, और
भाई
उम्मीद है ये डॉस9 को एक और दिलवा दिया जाएगा, तो उसके पीछे उनका अल्टीमेट तैयार हो जाएगा। प्लेट स्टॉप, लेट्स सी दैट्स द आईडिया और नॉट, क्योंकि टीममेट पे अर्ली यूटिलिटी इन्वेस्ट करके
सेवरन ने अगला राउंड पूरा बाय होगा नहीं, इसके पास क्यों बाय करा उसने,
क्योंकि हर बार बीमेन तक तो पहुंच जाते हैं, तो और भी काइंड ऑफ फ्री ही रहता है उनके लिए। लेकिन इस बार डॉस9 स्टार्ट जरूर करे थे बी साइड पे, लेकिन बिना और बढ़ाई सीधा ए पे आ चुके हैं। प्ले फ्रॉम स्टिल नॉट इन हिज हैंड्स, इसी का और देना चाहिए, क्योंकि डॉस9 को वो कहना कि ब्रेक फ्रॉम लेके आना है।
भाई आरवी पे अल्ट आई डोंट थिंक सो दे विल यूज दिस अल्ट दिस राउंड बिकॉज़ वो इको है।
बी रीटेक पे छोड़ा हुआ है,
अगर उन्होंने अल्ट यूज करी ये राउंड तो नेक्स्ट राउंड
थोड़ा सा अग्रेसिव वॉकअप
इट्स गोना बी डिफिकल्ट।
बिल्कुल भाई साथ खेल,
सो आई होप ये अपनी नॉर्मल ड्रोन्स वो क्लियर करे हम लोग।
ट्रेडेबल रहे। सेवरीन अर्ली हाई टाइट गेट्स कंप्लीटली डिसरिस्पेक्टेड बाय ट्रू रिपर्स, और क्योंकि बार-बार ये विंगमैन से प्लांट करवाया जा रहा है, इसको रोक पाना भी बहुत ज्यादा मुश्किल है। अर्ली प्लांट इजी प्लांट मिल चुका है एंड टू राउंड एज वेल, अनलेस कुछ इनसेन शॉट्स मारे जा रहे हैं रेवेनेंट की तरफ से। हाइलाइट काफी अच्छी है, वो
ये मत कर रॉस्पी
करने के लिए, और इनसेन शॉट का नाम ले रहे थे, सेवरीन ने डिलीवर कर दिया है। पहला फ्रैग टीएम के ऊपर, और थ्रैश इन्वेस्टमेंट किया जरूर जाएगा, लेकिन ज्यादा वैल्यू मिल नहीं रही है। DA ऑफ द मॉलीज एवरीथिंग हर एक चीज डिप्लॉय करी जा रही है बट ऑफ लाइन पीक्स एक 1 फॉर 1 ट्रेड और उसके बाद टेक्नो एंड एलएस मिलके जितनी उम्मीदें रेवेंट ने जगाई थी सबको वहां पे
Once a legend said, whichever team gets stuck in level, that team is gonna lose.
This maker बहुत गंदा प्लेयर है.
And there are so many legends over here. They are saying, shut the fuck up, you fuck.
So the idea was there, वो फ्रैग देखते तो
ऐसा मैं नहीं
हुई थी.
ऐसा मैं नहीं
सभी
चाट
That doesn't matter.
All are legends.
और ट्रू रिपर्स ने राउंड निकाला है और एक बहुत जरूरी टाइम आउट रेवेनेंट के लिए. इस समय रेवेनेंट फंसी हुई है.
Well, a legend right here in black shirt is saying it's gonna be close matchup.
And this is how comeback starts, Padas.
Bro,
दो राउंड आपको लगातार
whichever team is stuck in level is gonna get stuck forever.
राउंड अगर लेकर गए they are back.
Up the legend.
Poor preparation. Poor मतलब ये तो बहुत पास वाइपर्स लेते हैं. How do you
बिना डिस्टर्ब किया है.
की तरफ से जिस टाइम पे द कॉन्टैक्ट उससे ज्यादा मिला नहीं है और अभी यहाँ पे जिनको सबसे ज्यादा फ्रैग चाहिए वो डॉस नाइन लेने वाले हैं क्योंकि ऑपरेटर के बलबूते पे पूरी परेशानियां बन सकता है अवेयर है उस चीज के लिए और एक बहुत अच्छा स्पैम और स्किल्स ने जो अलार्म बॉट लगाया था उसको ऑलरेडी ब्रेक डाउन कर चुके हैं.
अब इसमें से एक प्लेयर मिड ड्रॉ आउट जरूर होगा बट हाउ डज दैट इंपैक्ट द ओवरऑल राउंड. दैट्स माय क्वेश्चन. लॉकडाउन लगा के ट्रू रिपर्स दे विल गेट दैट इजी.
कहां लॉकडाउन लगाया भाई.
और वो साइड को लॉक रखने के लिए टेक्नो के पास वाइपर्स बिट है. हाउ डू यू नेविगेट थ्रू दैट. दीस आर माय क्वेश्चंस. अब रेवेनेंट क्या करती है. क्विक रीटेक का अटेम्प्ट है. रेकनिंग बहुत अर्ली इन्वेस्ट करी गई है. नो वाइपर्स बिट बाय टेक्नो. ही वाज नॉट ओवर देयर, नॉट प्रेजेंट ओवर देयर. और रेवेनेंट देखिए दो प्लेयर अभी भी आए नहीं है स्क्वाड असिस्ट के.
या 1 फॉर 1 ट्रेड आया जरूर है और डिफेंडर्स वाइपर स्पिट के अंदर कहीं ना कहीं स्टिक करने का मौका बनेगा नहीं क्योंकि वो नीचे की तरफ है बट सेवरीन ही फाइंड द फ्रैग एंड पैराडॉक्स अपनी वाइपर स्पिट पुश करके एक और फ्रैग निकाल चुके हैं नारियू.
अबे ये जीत सकता है इसके बाद टैरेट लगा दे.
अगर डाउन भी कर दिया तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है बट स्किल्स जस्ट स्पीक्स आउट ऑफ द ब्लू. टेक्स डाउन नारियू और उसके बाद पैराडॉक्स
पहले लगाता नहीं ये
डिफ्यूजर के साथ मैप पॉइंट पे ले जाएंगे रेवेनेंट को.
बट पार्टनर दिस इज पुअर प्रिपरेशन. पुअर मतलब ये तो बहुत पुअर तरीके से राउंड खेला गया है ट्रू रिपर्स की तरफ से. आपको पता था लॉकडाउन आपकी विन कंडीशन है, आप उसके पीछे एंटर करना चाह रहे हो. यू हैड द वाइपर्स पिट.
यस
बट देन टेक्नो वाज लर्किंग अप मिड. आई गेट द प्ले, दैट्स योर डिफॉल्ट. बट जब अल्टीमेट तैयार है वहां पर मेरे हिसाब से प्लेयर को बुला लेना चाहिए था. बट हे ट्रू रिपर्स दे हैड अ डिफरेंट प्लान इन देयर माइंड व्हिच डिड नॉट वर्क आउट फॉर देम. और रेवेनेंट ने भी मुझे लगता है ये चीज फिगर आउट कर ली. देखा कि प्लांट हो गया और वाइपर्स पिट नहीं डाली गई है. मतलब ये प्लेयर अभी लर्न कर रहा है कहीं पे. और इसी वजह से अगर आप देखो तो बहुत अवेयर थे सारे प्लेयर्स. बार-बार मिड चेक किया जा रहा था कि भाई कोई प्लेयर स्क्रीन से फ्लैंक ना.
चलो भाई जीजिए.
गुड अवेयरनेस बाय टीम रेवेनेंट.
पढ़ो भाई लेजेंड सेड 11 पिस्टा को लेजेंड नहीं लंडजेंड था.
विन कंडीशंस की अगर बात की जाए तो इस बार वापस से टेक्नो के पास उनकी
चैट
रहने वाली
किसने
है.
बोला चैट में वो नाम बता जरा.
अल्टीमेट है नहीं इस राउंड में.
मोड़ दो भाई को.
लेजेंड
चाहेगा कि उस अल्टीमेट के आसपास ही राउंड करने की ऑकर्षण किया जाए लेकिन दैट मेकर ही फाइंड्स वन और 7 एलिमिनेट करके इमीडिएट फॉल बैक भी कर देंगे. बट डॉस 9 ही फाइंड्स टेक्नो. ट्रू रिपर्स की सबसे बड़ी विन कंडीशन राउंड से बाहर हो चुकी है फ्रेंड्स.
रॉसी कहां मर गया आपको.
उसको ही डाउन करा.
दैट इज व्हाट दे हैव टू मेंटेन. बट डेथ मेकर अभी भी मिड लर्क अप कर रहे हैं. रेवेनेंट एक गैम्बल कॉल आया है. दे वांट टू स्टैक अप बी. डिसरप्ट प्लांट करेंगे और डेथ मेकर नाउ विल प्ले द लेट लर्कर रोल. और डिसरप्ट विल फाइंड दैट फ्लैग विद द दैट किल्स आल्सो. Para, maybe another ace is what he's looking for. 1v3 में डाला गया है.
भाई डर लग रहा है मुझे.
जाना डीएम डर क्या.
चलिए अब कर दिया.
पैरा मारेगा मुझे डर लग रहा है. पैरा मारेगा.
ओके ही फाइंड्स द क्लोज एंगल लेकिन उसके बाद एक काफी अच्छा पीक.
आके पुश कर दिया ना. मार देता पहला फ्रैग.
ये जो पहला फ्रैग था अगर डबल पीक नहीं आता तो पैराडॉक्स के लिए 1v2 थोड़े आसान हो जाते हैं. बट अभी के लिए ट्रू रिपर्स एवरीथिंग अंडर कंट्रोल. को फ्रैग्स मिले थे तो उनका थ्रैश भी ऑनलाइन आ चुका है. टेक्नो की वाइपर स्पिट अभी भी अवेलेबल है.
Them back in the race. 10-12 is the score. 2 rounds separating them from pushing towards OT. These solo rounds really need to be countered hard. There's a lockdown available in the hands of Skills, and in my opinion, he should use that as a resistance. Just deny the side control completely. Do not even let True Rippers just set their foot on the site. Revenue Esports this time trying to make that push and pull strategy happen. You can see the player on the A is completely pushed back, while there's a massive push coming in from B. The players have already pushed up all the way deep towards main. There's a lot of confirmation that's being given away. So one thing is for sure, soon enough, we might just see the rotation being pulled back as well. Good pick from Skills, which was really important. DOS9 as well, able to return back with that operator. Oh my god, these type of kills is really going to bring Revenue Esports inside of the race once again, and they might just get the closure. They might just get the confirmation that they needed. DOS9 switches over to Phantom, and that's it, Skills! With the closure, a 3K on the board. Beautiful stuff. Skills was feeling himself in that round. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Revenue Esports to close things off in Icebox. The last time these two teams faced off against each other, it was True Rippers to take away Icebox, but now it's Revenant. They have changed the past.
Proving every analyst out there wrong. That maybe Icebox could go in the side of True Rippers, pulling out the Harbor Viper composition for the first time in this playoffs, working out so very well for them. But on the other side though, few things need to be discussed for True Rippers, because again, there were a couple of ultimates that they still did not use, or they were not utilized to perfection. A few rounds left and right that should have been theirs, but it kinda went away. Specifically the ones in which all they had to do was to hold the post plant. And that's what did not happen. Yeah, there are a few things that True Rippers would definitely need to work out, talk around that, and then move on to the next map of Bind. But yet again, a great map coming in, and what an adaptation from Revenant.
It was indeed quite a rough game from them, that's for sure. And True Rippers, man, I mean, as you mentioned, proving the analysts wrong. We all thought that Icebox can definitely be going True Rippers' way, but unfortunately that's not the case. The Harbor Viper composition working out quite well for them. And as I mentioned, at the end of the day, even duels are something you really need to come out on top from. And unfortunately, a lot of those duels are also being lost by True Rippers, which is another factor that needs to be added on towards this entire loss. Hopefully, the upcoming map, which is going to be Bind, we might just see True Rippers prevail, because Bind is one of those off picks. We haven't seen both these teams play on that map at all, so anything can happen.
Yeah, I'm also expecting that one to go in anyone's favor, because again, if in case it goes in for True Rippers' side, you could say that Split, again, it's going to go pretty close, because previously as well, it was 13-10 scoreline on the map of Split. Just one round left and right, and we might have also seen an overtime. But here's the thing, right? Revenant has again got a chance to close things out, because they have been cooking stuff up till now. They haven't showed a lot of those teams out there. Harbor Viper composition never being pulled out from their side back in those group stages, and now they enter in the playoffs, they pull out a Harbor Viper. Maybe on the Bind they can pull something as crazy as a triple controller, who knows?
I mean, hey, as I mentioned, in these type of stages, you really need to pull something new out of the box, and that's what they've done. To catch your opponents off guard is something that you really need to do. On Revenue Esports, they have successfully done that. This new composition that they brought up inside of Icebox might just make a lot of those teams second out their own picks so far inside of the tournament, because they just do not know what exactly is going to be upcoming when they face off against Revenue Esports. Because so far they're a step closer to that upper brackets round 2. As we move on forward with the match stats of the previous game, you guys can see the most of the first bloods, they were being found by the side of True Rippers, but then once again, it's all going to come down to those duels, right? Those later on duels on towards site, and that's where Revenue Esports was prevailing most of the times. Revenue Esports, they've got the core mechanics down when it comes to the team play. There's always another man available to get the trade in their hands. And majority of the times, Revenue Esports on the attacking side, the amount of map control they were able to run away with was insane. That's why True Rippers was getting caught off guard with those lurks over and over again, and he was Paradox majority of the times.
Agreed. And even after True Rippers getting 15 first kills, they were just not able to close it out. Even in the post plan, we saw them only converting 4 out of the 8 that they were able to get. So those again are the few things that in post plan they really need to work a few things out. However, we're looking at the MVP from the both sides, and it's Sentinel from the one that Skills with KJ in his hand, 26 and 12, while on the other side it's going to be Disrupt on that Gecko, 273 ACS. 22 and 18. Man was really doing heavy lifting.
He indeed was. I mean, you guys can clearly see the heat map as well. And just look at the majority of the duels where they're exactly happening, right? Even towards mid, there were a lot of those duels happening. I mean, in general, in total, we witnessed 86 kills and 79 deaths, and the plants were 10 and the defusers were only 4. So in general, resistance was something that was always prevailing on the top. Retake, both these teams were sort of struggling, but then once again, Revenue Esports, they were just in much more of a better form.
Yep, and here we go. The MVP of the game itself with a 193.3 damage per round. It's going to be Skills with 282 ACS and 2.4 KDA, 8.7 first blood. Alright, he's a killjoy. He does not need that higher, but yeah, doing some really good job as well. Even on that attacking side, he made sure that he's watching out for those flanks as well, going in for those trades for his teammate. Again, here are the things, right? Yeah, there was a situation where we saw one clutch round coming in for the side of Revenant Esports, but on the other end of the spectrum, there were 15 first bloods for True Rippers. The
And if you
conversion
remember-
for 4v5, that's massive.
And if you remember that 4K from SK Rossi, right? The 4K Rossi curse continues. This man's just never able to get that ace. He does sometimes, of course, but, you know, it's like a little bit of a meme going on. 4K Rossi, once again, with that Guardian, unfortunately not able to close it off. But hey, I guess he was able to come on top with that heroic play and really save his team that one initial round, which was also sort of a mental breaker. But then later on, we also saw True Ripper slowly and steadily getting those scrappy rounds in their hands and also make the series quite competitive. I would say 13-10 is quite a competitive scoreline. Anything can happen in Bind.
I'm also again expecting anything to happen, but yeah, that was one of the phenomenal aces out there in the playoffs. First day itself, first map itself. We see an ace, we see a 4K, we see a thrifty, clutches. That's the pure beauty of the game, Valorant itself. And again, it was the map of Icebox. There were a few jitters left and right that we did see from both of those teams, but Bind has been there for quite a few weeks, you could
This
say.
one.
Even in that competitive pool. Yeah,
Oh,
again,
this
that one
tap
4K.
was disgusting. This tap was disgusting on the LF. He just sees that initial peak from Rossi and instantly gets head tapped. Like, what are you even supposed to do at that point? You just can't do anything. The first bullet is straight up just connecting to your head. But yeah, getting that 4K, as I mentioned, that was super important for Revenue Esports to sort of keep that momentum going. And initially, Revenue Esports just ran away with too many rounds. First half, 7-5 in my opinion, it was quite solid, but then the pistol round was really important too. And as soon as Revenue Esports won that pistol round somewhere down the line, we all know this can also be the nail in the coffin. But True Rippers, you really got to give it to them, man. They tried to make it as competitive as possible. They made it 10-13, which in my opinion is a competitive scoreline. And we know now that True Rippers, they've sort of tested the waters against Revenue Esports in this finals bracket. Moving on forward inside of Bind, they are going to be ready to adapt even better, and they're going to be ready for the surprises.
I'll be expecting the exact same thing because, yeah, those 4v5 conversions from Revenant was insane. The adaptation on the fly was amazing. The read of what True Rippers are going with, beautiful. Even those ultimates, I mean, specifically from Paradox on the Vipers, those Viper pits, that provided a massive value to him. On the other side, we did not really see Techno pulling out his own Viper's pit that much, right? I mean, at maximum, we only saw him do that once, maybe on the defense. That's about it, if I'm not wrong. He even did not do that. So that's, again, a massive red flag coming in already. On the map of Bind itself, where you potentially have a Viper along with a Brimstone, the double controller is basically a staple setup. You really want to utilize those pits to its fullest potential.
And we also mentioned this over and over again, right? Reckoning from the side of Revenue Esports was super crucial as well. Yeah, they were not able to find a lot of value with that, but it's all about getting the map control in the retake scenarios on the defensive side of things, right? They were able to pull it off once successfully. They were able to push the attackers all the way in the back, get the side control in quite a proactive way. I just love the fact that Revenue Esports are so quick on the fly, adapting. And this is something that's really making sure that True Rippers is also going to fall under that pressure, because you're seeing that resistance come through so quick while True Rippers is still trying to understand the post-plant situation. And there's already the resistance available with the ultimates right there. So what are you even supposed to do when you're True Rippers? Well, I guess just be ready with all the ultimates and have a little bit more possible sense that what is exactly going to be upcoming, and realize the fact that the opponents are ready with these ults.
I mean, that's one of the major reasons why Revenant was, again, able to take care of everyone on the side of True Rippers in those post-plan situations, utilizing their utilities well. High tides always on your face, cascades as well to help your team go in for those retakes. Even on the attack, we just saw how quickly Revenant were taking that backside control and making sure that there was no one pushing up. Why? Because there's a cascade in your face. You cannot just dry peek out of a wall, and it does slow you down. I know it's pretty minute, but still, it eventually does slow you down.
Exactly, and as I've been mentioning over and over again, with this composition, you get so much visual denying potential. It's crazy. You've already got the Viper wall towards the B side just ready, and then you move on forward towards the A side with the Harbor control. Man, it's just really tough as a defender to face off against it. And even if you are the one on the defending side of things, as an attacker in the post plan, it's really tough to breach through this entire scenario that's going to be put up in front of you. Even plus, if there is an ultimate available in the hands of Harbor, which is the Reckoning, well, then it's just a nail on top of the coffin, because you would need to give that proactive positions that you've already taken on top of the site. Once again, if the Reckoning's not available, you can always try to go for those little sneaky plays where you can just tuck yourself in a corner and hope that the person's not going to go for the check, and you will have the initial advantage in that fight. But if the Reckoning's available, you cannot pull off shenanigans like that, because your positions will be compromised.
That is true, and that's what helped Revenant go in for those retakes as well, specifically in that last round itself, when I mentioned that this Reckoning could be a massive tool for the retake, along paired up with the Paradox's Viper Spit as well. And again, our Techno was just not able to use out his own. It all eventually went in favor of Revenant because they were able to utilize those ultimates to its fullest potential. Though I would still say the double initiator of Gecko and Sova could have countered this visual denial setup with, because you've got the Owl Drone, you've got the refreshing recons, you've also got Dizzy, who would at least let you know if there are people or not. And again, you've also got the Wingman as well if you really want to use. You've got Mollies for Viper as well as Gecko itself to clear out some of the space at the backside and keep a few for the post plant. I would still say that the execute was fine, but the post plant is always where True Rippers face some problems, because the retake from Revenant was just on point.
Yeah, talking about the Gecko though, I mean, do you really feel like Gecko was used to his fullest potential? I hardly saw any glimmer of highlights from the side of Gecko, man. I mean, the Dizzy, was being utilized here and there once in a while, but it wasn't exactly able to find the amount of value that it's supposed to. And that's where, I guess, the real problems was really there. Sova, yes, the shock darts were there on the point. Even the recons were there. They were able to find the info. But then you did not expect the same thing from the Gecko, man. The Gecko, in my opinion, was just not able to find the amount of value that it was supposed to. And that's why some of the takes from the side of True Rippers on the attacking side just fell off.
Maybe, because that's again something Disrupt, he was able to find his individual value with
individual
those skills, but
mechanics, I mean, Disrupt has been there. This is something I mentioned, right? He's one of those disciplined players with some insane mechanics. But then once again, speaking about the team play, finding the value, finding the information with the Dizzy, it was something that wasn't really there that often. But then once again, I mean, in general, they just lost this match fair and square because they gave too much of an early lead to the opponents.
Specifically when the half shifted and eventually it was the pistol, the anti-eco, and as well as the bonus round. That was where everything basically broke for the side of True Rippers, and they just could not catch up to that lead. And again, kudos to SK Rossi with that massive play on the Guardian, but also at the same time to Paradox for making those lurking plays out in the first half. But again, now we've been talking about Icebox for a lot while, and as well the audience might get bored about that. I really want to look forward towards Bind as well, because every single time we have seen international teams play, we've seen some fun compositions, alright, don't get me wrong. We normally would see Sky, but now since the flashes are nerfed, do you think we will potentially see more of Gecko?
I would say no, not on Bind. I would say absolutely not on Bind. But I mean, I would love to see Breach inside of the composition. I would love to see that Breach mix coming in with the Sova. It can definitely be one of those classic compositions that we've been witnessing since the past, and it can definitely add on a little bit of a new twist to the playstyle, because once again, you're going back to the roots, and it's something that everyone's familiar to playing with. You might just feel a little bit more in your comfort zone. I mean, that's just my opinion. But you know what? We're talking about initiators and controller too much. Do you think we're going to see a Euro being pulled out?
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing, that maybe teams normally go with a double controller, right?
Hey,
That's
man, I want to see a Euro, man. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see a Euro being pulled out over here. Me too.
I love Yoru. So maybe pair up a double controller with Sky and a Yoru as for that double initiator type of setup, wherein Sky would be the main initiator, Yoru would be the pseudo one, pair him up with the Rays as well, going in with the Satchels. It's going to be super fun to potentially watch out. But yet again, there's one thing I really want to talk about, as you mentioned about Breach as well. It could be used, Rolling Thunder is usable, but the only problem that remains is that there is no potential God Flash that could come in from Breach. Sky can do that. I mean, even Gecko can do that. So that's the only thing I might think that Breach might not be pulled in.
Never know. Never know what's going to be the picks over here, because after the first Icebox Agent Select, I have been astonished. It's a change I wanted to see, but I did not expect it will be there, but it was there. So at this point, speculating anything can be something that might just bite us in the back later on. So you know what? Let's just wait for the Agent Select to reveal itself off the bind, and here we go. Agent Select in front of us. We're seeing Brimstone from Skills, Severine with the Sky. Interesting. Chamber from being pulled out from the side of SK Rossi, Dawson9 with the Reyna, and Paradox with the Rays. We're seeing a double duelist over here. Interesting. And then on the opposite side of things, we're going to see a Harbor Wiper composition onto our spine. Ladies and gentlemen, I can already tell this is going to be super exciting.
Okay, hear me out. Reyna being pulled in by Revenant. What are they trying to do? Now,
Aggression, my friend. Listen, this is opposite side of the ends, right? You see a complete defensive lineup from the side of the opponents, which is True Rippers, and then you see a complete W key lineup from the side of Revenant Esports. That's what it is.
I was about to mention what kind of Paper X composition is that, but all right, I love it. I love it. So
hey, we all love something new.
We always love to see that W key going in, and you know, there's one fun thing about the Harbor composition being pulled up, that you can also go for a W key hookah flood strategy with the Harbor itself. Because of the way you can just use high tide on towards the side, you can go in for some amazing hookah executes. I'll be looking forward for some very fun, fast gameplay.
That's what we're definitely going to see from the side of Revenant. But are we going to see the same thing from True Rippers? That's my real question. They're going for the Harbor Wiper composition, a double controller. That means one thing is for sure, True Rippers are going to play this map super tactical, while the opponents, they're going to focus on their firepower a lot more. The double duelist composition that they've got really enables them to do so as well. Use their firepower, use the Reyna Leers, get inside of the site, double satchel from the Rays as well, get the proactive control. It's going to be an amazing game, ladies and gentlemen. A defensive side versus a complete attacking composition. Revenant Esports, though, they're going to be the one to kick things off on the defending side of things. And one thing is for sure, we might just see them go proactive off the rip.
Highly possible. Rossi buying 6 of the bullets in his Headhunter. Wants to play along with that only.
Okay.
Pulling up so quickly. That's the hookah flood I was talking about. High tide goes up, everyone jumps in directly from the hookah, and they've got the side quickly for themselves.
Easily.
I mentioned it.
And now Dawson9 trying to move in from the back. Even the spikes being planted. Paradox, he gets the first engagement in his hands, but he's not able to come out on top. The connections are sort of missing. Deathmaker wins that duel against Dawson9, which was a crucial one. And now it's a 2v5. Both the players are quite softened up for Revenant. They would need to go for some inhuman plays to come out on top. And yeah, so far the possibilities of the inhuman plays are being completely denied. There's a frenzy in the front lines and he does not even find one. It's a flawless round off the bat to kick things off with. True Rippers, that's a good round.
I'm just going to enjoy the fact I called in for hookah flood and that actually happened right away in the pistol round. But yeah, everything pulled aside. That was a very pacey round coming in, and again, I called for it. They can potentially go in for a pacey round as well. However, the adjustment now needs to come in from the side of Revenant themselves. Some crowd fans out there shouting out for their teams and favorite players. You always love to see that action whenever it's happening on the LAN.
I like the fact that there's also a lot of True Ripper supporter.
Yes.
And I think so mainly it's going to be because of Hellfighter and Deathmaker. Oh, look at this. A push coming in all the way from Hookah. As I mentioned, the defenders will definitely try to be a little bit more proactive. And that's what is exactly happening. Being aggressive from Hookah. Good picks from Techno.
Wow.
A quick haircut towards Severine. The man does not even stand a chance to fight back. And yeah, that's it. SK Rossi being the last one left alive with a lot of bullets in his headhunter. Will he be able to hunt some heads though?
Doubt so, because again, he's got to worry about someone coming on his 6, though. Disrupt is not the one who's making the move, but he's still got to try and move forward. Eye tied up on his face. Can't really do anything until that goes down, and it finally did. No one's actually watching him? No, they are. They are, but Rossi, okay, connects to, gets the Vandal out of the hands. Helef and Techno are very softened up, so he can potentially clutch it out. Never mind. Never mind. The regrowth is there.
Pretty much. I mean, one last man on the site, and yeah, you also get spammed through the tube. Does not even stand a chance, unfortunately. But yeah, 2 rounds back-to-back so far, being won by True Rippers. This is the exact same start they had at the previous round as well, or the previous map. That's what I mean. And once again, now, this is where the buys will be there on the table. It will be a bonus round for True Rippers. And if they're not able to carry on this bonus round that well, then the problems will definitely be there. But they've still got 3 Vandals in their hands.
Yes, heavy investment coming in. So it could potentially be their round. Now that Sky Flash gives out.
Oh my god!
Snake Bite, what?
Lucky to survive, क्योंकि वो स्पैम नहीं लगता तो डेथमेकर इनको रन डाउन कर देते सैचल्स के साथ. बट अर्ली फ्रैग मिला है एंड रेवेनेंट मैन एडवांटेज के साथ खेलेगी.
तो बाय राउंड के अंदर अगर इतनी बढ़िया शुरुआत मिल जाए और क्या चाहिए. तो बकायदा देखा जाए डिस्टर्ब के पास अभी गार्डियन है, बट रॉसी स्टेपिंग अप. इंपॉर्टेंट शुरुआत डॉस ने करी थी. रॉसी ने एक और फ्रैग निकाल दिया है. मैन एडवांटेज अच्छी खासी रेवेनेंट के पास है एंड ये उनका पहला बाय राउंड है. हेवी इन्वेस्टेड राउंड बोल सकते हैं. उनको बिना प्लेयर ड्रॉप करे इस राउंड को कन्वर्ट करना पड़ेगा.
लेट्स सी. सेवरीन वो फ्लैंक कर चुके हैं. शॉट पूरा इन्फॉर्मेशन है कि ये प्लेयर्स ए साइड के ऊपर ही एंड करने वाले हैं. You need some heroics either from Disrupt or LF, क्योंकि Rossi once again fires a few shots, gets that frag on Techno, does that with the follow-up, and Revenant with a flawless answer back crack.
You know, ये साइड का दर्शन करते रह गए और उनको साइड पे एंट्री बिल्कुल नहीं मिली. परफेक्ट डिफेंस था, क्रॉस फायर ले, इंडिविजुअल फाइट से हर एक सेक्शन के अंदर रेवेनेंट ने अपने आप को टॉप नॉच दिखाया है. एंड दैट वाज स्टार्ट दे वांटेड, बिकॉज़ आपका पहला भी इन्वेस्टेड राउंड था. एक बढ़िया फ्लॉलेस राउंड यहाँ पे जीता. बट मुझे लगता है ट्रू रिपर्स दे हैव टू रिटालिएट, दे हैव टू गिव अ नाइस आंसर बैक, बिकॉज़ अगर यहीं से रेवेनेंट ने वो लैब पकड़ ली, वो मोमेंटम पकड़ लिया, जो वो फर्स्ट हाफ की उम्मीद ट्रू रिपर्स लेके बैठे हैं, वो फर्स्ट हाफ उनको नहीं मिलेगा.
चलिए जरूरी चौथा राउंड आएगा यहाँ पर. एंड लेट्स सी हाउ डू दे वांट टू प्ले दिस वन आउट. सेवरीन अर्ली भी अगेन पीलॉन्ग का कंट्रोल रखना चाह रहे हैं अपने लिए. ट्रैपले सेट किया हुआ है वैसे तो. as soon as they get some sort of contact, as soon as they get some sort of trigger, all these 3 players on the back of that flash will try to push through. True Rippers on the other hand, बहुत slow default early on. Long दूर से मार्क कर रहे हैं. Disrupt showers is being just checked by Techno. He just want to play out for information.
ये क्या ही चल रहा है. 3 प्लेयर डिफेंडर्स ही लॉन्ग की तरफ से आके, you know, एक स्काई के फ्लैश है, थोड़ा सा इन्फॉर्मेशन जरूर दिया, बट डिस्टर्ब समझदार प्लेयर है. जैसी देखा कि डबल पीक का शिकार बन रहे थे, सीधा फॉल बैक करा और अपने मित्र को लेकर आए हैं. और इस बार करारा जवाब मिलेगा. मुझे थोड़ी देर के लिए लगा कि यहाँ पर ड्रोन चल रहा है, फिर मैंने देखा सोवा तो है नहीं. बट लकी है यहाँ पर डेथमेकर, काफी कम एचपी में बचेंगे, बिकॉज वो लियर आया था, उनका विजन कॉम्प्रोमाइज था. टाइम रहते हुए अपने आप को सिचुएट बैक कर पाए.
ए साइड बिल्कुल खाली छोड़ के खेला जा रहा है, लेकिन अगर आप देखो तो वो यू हॉल के अंदर एक ट्रिप डाली हुई है. वो पैसिव इन्फॉर्मेशन है. यू नो नोबडी हैज इन्फिल्ट्रेटेड थ्रू यू हॉल. एक प्लेयर ने हेवन से सब कुछ क्लियर कर दिया है. रेवेनेंट इज रेडी फॉर दिस हिट फ्लैट. 4 प्लेयर्स आ गए इस साइड के अंदर. रॉसी ट्राइंग टू फाइंड दैट फर्स्ट ब्लड, गेट्स नथिंग बट पैरा का सपोर्ट.
रॉसी पीछे आ रहा है.
बट यहाँ पे डॉसन ही नीड्स टू डू समथिंग बिग. लैम्प के अंदर एंटर करने की कोशिश करेंगे, बट आर्यू को ऑफ गार्ड पकड़ा. मौका तक नहीं मिलेगा उससे, उन्होंने पिक ऑफ करा. बट ये टेलीपोर्ट यूज कर ऑलरेडी पहुंच चुके हैं. समय बचा है मात्र 8 सेकंड. स्पाइक प्लांट कर पोस्ट प्लांट में भी काम करने पड़ेगा. इट्स अ 2v3 सिचुएशन. रेना स्काई ब्रिम यूटिलिटीज की बात करेंगे, कुछ खास नहीं बचा है. एम फाइट लेनी पड़ेगी यहाँ पर.
आइसोलेट करना चाह रहे हैं वो डुअल्स को, लेकिन अपने प्लेयर को आइसोलेट कर दिया. डिसरप्ट फाइंड्स 1, लेकिन स्किल्स का ट्रेड. बैक साइड पे टेक्नो, जॉब कट आउट फॉर स्किल्स काफी ज्यादा लो है. सेवरीन टाइमिंग नहीं है उनके पास, नहीं तो रीग्रोथ चला देते। द एंगल परफेक्ट पर जंप कर गए। He gets one. The trade is there for the side of team Revenant. और दूसरा राउंड बोर्ड पे लगाएगी।
मुझे समझ नहीं आया कि जब 1v2 सिचुएशन में है, आपको पता है 2 प्लेयर ऊपर से आ रहे हैं, तो एक ऐसा एंगल क्यों खेलना है जहां पर आपको मल्टीपल एंगल चेक करने पड़े? या तो आप एक एंगल में कमिट कर कंफर्म कर लो। ये मुझे टेक्नो की तरफ से थोड़ा सा ऊपर नीचे वाला हिसाब लगा, बट चीजें पलट सकती थी। मिड राउंड के अंदर तहस नहस हुआ है दोनों साइड में। दोनों साइड ने अच्छे खासे प्लेयर गवाए हैं, बट जो शुरुआत ट्रू रिपर ने ली थी, अब वो धीरे कर करके रेवरेंट ने बराबरी कर दी है। स्कोर हैज बीन लेवल्ड अप।
पैसा नहीं बचा है लेकिन ट्रू रिपर्स के पास शो स्टॉपर अवेलेबल जरूर है डेथ मेकर के लिए। तो अगर इनमें से एक आधा प्लेयर कुछ क्रेजी शॉट सेट कर दे तो मे बी वो शो स्टॉपर का इस्तेमाल करके ट्रू रिपर कैन ट्राई एंड विन द राउंड, बट रेवरेंट और फेवर्ड। व्हाट इज दैट? डिसरप्ट गेट्स अ डबल। सेवरीन ने ट्रेड्स अच्छे निकाले हैं, बट ये राउंड अभी भी समाप्त नहीं हुआ है। सेवरीन स्टिल स्टिकिंग अराउंड फॉर मोर, गेट्स द थर्ड, वेयर्स द सपोर्ट। ये शॉट पे फ्लैंक है बट वो थोड़ा सा लेट है और उसके बारे में आप अवेयर।
ये ब्रिम बॉल बैक करने की कोशिश, थोड़ा सा टाइम ज्यादा लिया। टेक्नो ने डैमेज मजबूत जरूर दिया यहाँ पे स्किल्स को, बट ज्यादा देर की कहानी नहीं रहेगी इस कमजोर बाय राउंड के अंदर। ट्रू रिपर्स दे हैव टू टेक द डिफीट, बट रेवेनेंट के अंदर वो तो है, शोमैन स्पिरिट है। हर एक प्लेयर के पास वो लम्हे हैं जहां पर दे स्टेप अप बिग टाइम। लास्ट गेम आइस बॉक्स के अंदर सेवरिन वाज द वन जो वो स्टेप अप नहीं कर पा रहे थे, बट अब सेवरिन ने भी वो कमान उठाई है एंड बैक टू बैक ऐसे लम्हे अपनी टीम को दे रहे हैं जहां पर वो भी टीम के लिए एक प्रॉपर एसेट प्रूव हो रहे हैं।
वेल रेवरेंट इसी तरीके से कंटिन्यू करते रहे तो एक काफी अच्छा डिफेंसिव आप बन सकता है। एंड बेयर इन माइंड भले से ये डबल कंट्रोलर सेटअप हो क्रैट, यहाँ पर अटैक में ही आपको ज्यादा राउंड चाहिए क्योंकि रेवरेंट भी जो डबल डुएलिस्ट रन कर रही है उनका अटैकिंग साइड और ज्यादा फियर्स रहेगा।
वो तो तबाही मचा देंगे, वो तो मतलब अटैक साइड के अंदर आपके डिफेंस का मजाक बनेगा। बट इसमें कभी तक शो स्टॉपर यहाँ पर प्रॉब्लम देखिए, रॉसी सो स्मार्ट, रॉन्डेवू का क्या खूबसूरत प्रयोग करा है, शो स्टॉपर को डॉज करा है यहाँ पर। बट हेलन ये पूरा प्लान डिनाई करे डिफेंडर साइड के प्लेयर, बट रॉसी ये ओवर कमिटमेंट का एक बहुत बड़ा प्राइम सिग्नल बन सकता है। बट शावर के अंदर भी प्लेयर मौजूद है। इस ब्रिम स्मोक के बाद जैसी खत्म होगा एक फेस ऑफ होने की जरूरत, बट टेक्नो टेकिंग दैट एडवांटेज। मैन एडवांटेज है, प्लांट कर देंगे, बट एक फ्लैंक आ रहा है। पैरा he needs to go big.
He gets one toss, नहीं डेब्यू द शावर पे एलिमिनेट किया तो ट्रू रिपर फंस सी गई है। Are you deals with him? The operator is not connecting. अब दोनों प्लेयर शावर फंसे हुए, यू ऑल फंसे हुए। How do they get the job done? Rossi finally gets the shot और टॉस 9 का पीछे से सपोर्ट। ये प्लांट होने से पहले जब रीटेक शुरू हो जाता है ना, ये दिखाता है कि ट्रू रिपर्स के पास मैप कंट्रोल है ही नहीं।
मतलब आप साइड के अंदर घुसे, वहां पर इंस्टेंटली ब्रिम का मोलोटोव आ गया, इसका मतलब आप प्लांट नहीं कर सकते। नाउ यू हैव टू वेट। वो जो 10-15 सेकंड होते हैं वो डिफेंडर्स को मिलते हैं रोटेट करने के लिए। रॉसी ने कितना खूबसूरत खेला, कितना समय बर्बाद करा वहां पर, और उसके बाद आपको पता है कि आपके पास सेंटिनल नहीं है, आपके पास मैप कंट्रोल रह ही नहीं सकता, आप हर जगह बॉडी इन्वेस्ट नहीं कर सकते। आप क्या करेंगे? आपको जल्दी से जल्दी जो करना है वो करना है। अब वो कर भी नहीं पा रहे हैं। लिटरली पैराडॉक्स आ रहे हैं, एक कहते ना पीस ऑफ केक। आप लिटरली आए, आपने बैकशॉट करा, आपको कोई मार्क नहीं करा, एंड यू टेकिंग द मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट आउट ऑफ इट।
एंड दैट्स वेयर आई से रेवेनेंट की मैं ज्यादा तारीफ करना चाहूंगा कि वो मॉली से, वो यूटिलिटी से सामने वाली टीम को परेशान करके रखना। शो स्टॉपर टैंक कर रहे हैं रॉसी विद दैट रॉन्डेवू।
फ्रेंचाइज प्लेयर है, ऐसी चीजें तो करेगा ही।
ये प्लेस काफी मजेदार और ये कांटेक्ट अप करने की कोशिश एंड रॉसी a beautiful collateral in that round.
ये लोग मौका नहीं दे रहे, और ऐसे राउंड यहाँ पर ट्रू रिपर्स का इकोनॉमी नहीं तोड़ रहे हैं, मनोबल भी तोड़ रहे हैं। मैं फिर से याद दिला दूं अपने दर्शकों को कि बाइंड मैप यहाँ पे ट्रू रिपर्स की तरफ से पिक करा गया है, और हम सबने देखा है कि ग्रुप स्टेजेस के अंदर रेवेनेंट बाइंड से थोड़ा सा हिचकती है, थोड़ा सा दूर रहती है। आज अगर रेवेनेंट ने ट्रू रिपर्स को बाइंड में एक कंफर्टेबल मात दी, एक बहुत बड़ी स्टेटमेंट रहेगी रेवेनेंट की तरफ से।
थोड़ा सा इस राउंड के बाद ना मैं एक टाइम आउट देखना चाहूंगा क्रैट, जिसके अंदर आप बातचीत करें कि क्या गलत जा रहा है, क्या आप चेंज कर सकते हो, और इसके अंदर मैं देखना चाहूंगा आप फायदा उठाओ अपने डबल कंट्रोलर होने का। क्योंकि अगर आप देखो तो रेवेनेंट के पास सिर्फ स्किल्स है जो स्मोक फेंक सकते हैं, Other than that, nothing. Teen smokes है, you need to bail them out. ये तो एक simple clean up आता हुआ skills की तरफ से, not much to be done over there. एक simple सा round for Team Revenant, क्योंकि early वो जो frag मिले उसी ने आपको पूरी तरीके से set करके दे दिया round के temperament को कि अब ऐसे खेलना है. But now I want to see True Rippers use their composition for what it is made. तब आप balls डालो, उसके through pop flash करो, you have double initiator, double controller, उसका फायदा उठाओ. That's what I want.
तो आपकी उम्मीदें
दूसरा कैसे मरा भाई हम तक
अफसोस अभी तक उन उम्मीदों पे ट्रू रिपर्स के प्लेयर्स खड़े नहीं उतर पाए हैं. बट रेवरेंट दे हैविंग अ ग्रेट टाइम हियर. पहले 2 राउंड हारे थे वो पिस्टल एंड फॉलोइंग राउंड, उसके बाद से तब से रेवरेंट take the best balance they can, but spot करा टेक्नो को पॉइंट ब्लैंक पर यहाँ पर पकड़ा शो स्टॉपर में, और वहीं पे मैप के दूसरे कोने पे रेना डॉक्साइन खेलते हुए एक और प्लेयर को अपना शिकार बनाएंगे. और ट्रू रिपर्स, I don't know what's happening with them, but वो ताश के पत्तों की तरह बिखर रहे हैं.
ये राउंड स्लो डिफॉल्ट करने की कोशिश करी, शो स्टॉपर खा गए. तो
लिया उसको साउंड नहीं आई क्या? वो टीपी लिया ही नहीं.
रोसी ने
ओ भाई डोसा भाई वहां कैसे पहुंचे?
एक बहुत बड़ी बैलेंस दे कैन, बट शॉट करा टेक्नो को पॉइंट ब्लैंक पर यहाँ पर पकड़ा शो स्टॉपर में, और वहीं पे मैप के दूसरे कोने पे रेना डॉक्साइन खेलते हुए एक और प्लेयर को अपना शिकार बनाएंगे. और ट्रू रिपर्स, I don't know what's happening with them, but वो ताश के पत्तों की तरह बिखर रहे हैं.
ये राउंड स्लो डिफॉल्ट करने की कोशिश करी, शो स्टॉपर खा गए. डॉक्साइन पुश करके वो फ्रैग निकाल रहे हैं. अब यहाँ कहीं ना कहीं ट्रू रिपर्स को थोड़ा सा एडजस्ट करना पड़ेगा. वैसे तो बात काटने वाली बात है अपनी खुद की ग्रांड कि आप स्लो खेलना चाह रहे हो, but then ये इंडिविजुअल डुअल्स है. एक्सेप्ट फॉर दैट शो स्टॉपर एवरीबॉडी पीक्ड आउट सोलो, और ट्रू रिपर्स ये बहुत क्रूशियल राउंड आ रही है, क्योंकि फिर से पैसा नहीं है अब आगे वाले राउंड के अंदर बाय करने के लिए.
अब लास्ट राउंड के अंदर गलती होती है, समझ सकते हैं, आपके पास इकोनॉमी नहीं थी, बट इस राउंड के अंदर तो भाई उनको दे कुड हैव डन समथिंग. बट टेक्नो का पकड़ा जाना जायज है, चलो वो ही वाज नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट शो स्टॉपर फ्रॉम दैट साइड. बट उसके बाद एक एक करके मैप के हर कोने पे जब आप प्लेयर गंवा रहे हैं, ये रीसेट का टाइम है. और जैसा आपने बोला, टाइम आउट ले लेना चाहिए. टाइम आउट ले, अपनी गलतियों पे एक सलाह मशवरा करें, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का, एंड आगे बढ़े. तो हर एक राउंड अब से जो गवाया जाएगा वो बहुत खतरनाक रहने वाला उनके लिए.
Yeah, but calling from Revenant is also very beautiful. जो भी कॉल कर रहा है कि पैरा गो ऑल्ट ए शॉट, और उसके बाद पैरा को वो कॉन्फिडेंस आ गया भाई, वो एक फ्रैग निकलता है, देन यू फील वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट इन टेकिंग ऑल दीस डुअल्स. और टॉस नाइट, ये तो खिलाड़ी जब से मैच शुरू हुआ है ना क्रैट, ही इज जस्ट रनिंग विद हिज वेपन एंड गेटिंग दोस फ्रैग्स. दोबारा देखिए पैराडॉक्स very aggressive on these angles, and that's what we like to see. Defense में proactivity, आप ढकेल रहे हैं सारे के सारे प्लेयर्स को पीछे, and you're getting the job done. Double team all around the board. सिर्फ शेरिफ से तो ज्यादा कुछ हो नहीं सकता है. And once again look at this aggression, just love it from the side of Team Revenant.
ये सप्रेस किया जा रहा है,
कॉन्वर्जेंस का टीआर ही नहीं दिख रहा है मेरे को.
कोने पे सप्रेस कर देते हैं.
कहाँ है भाई कॉन्वर्जेंस की टीआर?
वो घुट के बढ़ जाते हैं. यहाँ पे वही हालत करी जा रही ट्रू रिपर्स के साथ. यहाँ साइड के अंदर रॉसी अकेले फंसे हुए हैं. उन्होंने बकायदा बैक हॉल्स के अंदर अपना रॉन्डेवू लगा रखा है, तो अगर उनको लगा उसमें किसी ने सैमन करने की कोशिश करी, वो इंस्टेंटली फॉल बैक करके जरूर भागने की कोशिश करेंगे. झुटकी का इंतजार कर रहे हैं वो. स्पॉट करा, हेड हंटर पे जाएंगे, ही इज नॉट स्विचिंग दैट.
क्या प्लेयर है भाई रॉसी,
टेकिंग दैट कमांड, बट
बहुत बीटी प्लेयर है भाई.
टेक्नो using that operator will try to get maximum out of this weapon, but ज़्यादा देर कहानी अपनी नहीं लिख पाएंगे. But skills,
confidence देकर हो गया मोबली.
Securing the round for the team Revenant.
Great round once again by DOS side. मतलब जब जरूरत थी, यस रॉसी वो अच्छा नो स्कोप था, लेकिन उनके अराउंड जो सपोर्ट दिया डॉस साइड थे पीछे लियर के साथ, एंड देन गेटिंग फ्रैग्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
नहीं मतलब मेरे हिसाब से ठीक है, वो
कॉल करते हुए
इतना राउंड जीत रहा, पर उसके हिसाब से कुछ नहीं आना चाहिए.
और अल्टीमेट दोनों है, बट वंस अगेन क्रैक, आप एक
म्यूट कर रहा था, कॉल पे बात कर रहा था तो म्यूट कर.
सामने वाली टीम ने अगर एक बेटर राउंड खेल दिया, एक बेटर हाफ बना दिया, यू आर डन.
साउंड था ही नहीं रे बाबा. अरे माइक
ऑलरेडी, बिकॉज़ वो जो डबल डुएलिस्ट ड्राफ्ट है
पीछे मैक्स टर्न है क्या?
होना बाकी है. आपने उस साइड पे
ऐसे दिखता है
निकाल दिए जहां पर आपको एक बेसिक हाफ भी काम चला सकता है.
चैट क्लिप करके भेज दो.
आपने ऑलरेडी अच्छे खासे राउंड निकाले. दूर पर शक्ल से आप देख सकते हैं, चेहरे पे वो चिंता है. हर ने तो मेरे ख्याल से मतलब मे बी इनका एक स्टांस है, बट एथनिकर ये प्लेयर वो है जो इतना ज्यादा बोलते हुए नहीं दिखता. ही इज समवन हु टॉक्स विद द गेम, बट आज ये भी वो पूरी डिस्कशन का पार्ट लेकर बने बैठे हैं. और कोशिश
डीएम
करें
भाई
कि
वोट
किसी
ऐसे लग रहा है
तरफ
जैसे
जाएं।
चैनी कहनी
वो
दोबारा
solution
की।
आने वाले राउंड्स के अंदर जरूर दिखना चाहिए, वरना इट विल बी टू लेट टू से सॉरी।
एग्जैक्टली बहुत नेसेसरी है कि कुछ
फोटो
अलग
पे तो
तरह
मैंने
से
lip gloss
आगे
लगा ली।
आने वाले राउंड्स के अंदर टाइम आउट कॉल
फोटो पे
किया
तो मैंने
था
lip gloss लगा
डीएम भाई
ली।
ऐसे ना करे बीच में।
एंड नाउ लेट्स सी व्हाट कैन बी डन इन दिस पर्टिकुलर राउंड।
डीएम भाई कहीं कतई कैमरे के सामने
पहली
एडजस्ट
चुनौती
कर रहे
रहेगी
हो अपनी
रॉसी के
कैनी।
ऑपरेटर, पर इसके साथ डील नहीं करना पड़ेगा बिकॉज़ दे आर हेडेड
बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है लवड़ी।
पीलॉक पे यूजुअली ट्रैप में रहता है, बट इस बार
आप ही ने तो दी थी नैनीताल जाते हुए।
फ्लैशेस को रिसाइकिल करके
ओह।
वैल्यू अर्ली वॉल
भाई
रॉसी
भाई की ऑफ
टेक्नो एक ऑफ
रॉसी
में
भाई
पकड़ना
की
चाह रहे थे,
गेम।
बट रॉसी मैन टू क्विक।
लॉर्ड सिमर आएगा अगली गेम, कैसे लग रहे बट भाई?
साइनाथ से
सबसे एक्साइटेड
बोलो।
साइनाथ
अरे
फाइट में घुसने का बस एक प्लान ही बनाया था, एक जवाब मिलता है यहाँ पे रेकलिंग से।
ये देखो भाई
और
इन पे फ्लैंक हो रहा है, इनको पता ही ना।
और यही फायदा उठाते जा रहे थे, देखिए ना
इनको पता ही ना।
अभी सेंटिनल लिया तो उसका तो नुकसान जरूर करना पड़ेगा, बट यहाँ पर ये देखिए थोड़ी देर के मुझे लगा स्किल्स गोइंग फॉर द डबल।
भाई कम ऑन
ये नंबर्स डिसएडवांटेज अभी भी रहने वाला है ट्रू रिवर्स के लिए।
So this guy is just too good, man.
The presence of Minders spam. Everything right now working in their favor. गलत
भाई।
डायरेक्शन में डेथमेकर देखते हुए पकड़े गए।
गलत हो रहा है भाई, गलत हो रहा है।
पूरा assassin team लग रहा है।
डॉसन का स्पैम बहुत क्रूशियल, और वो प्लेयर साइड के
भाई
सेक्टर
ये
पे अगर
नॉर्मली ऐसा खेल रहे हैं यार।
नहीं साथ
मैं बोल सकता हूँ ऑलरेडी
Like literally.
आ गई थी। 8-2 रेवरेंट इज गोइंग फॉर द डबल डिजिट ड्राफ्ट। अगर उन्होंने 10-2 का हाफ दे दिया यहाँ पे, ट्रू रिपर्स के बहुत मुश्किल होगा डिफेंडर संभालना।
सबसे पहली चुनौती यही हो रही है क्रैट कि आपको ये
अनहद
ऑपरेटर के साथ
थ्रो
डील
कर रहा
करना
है।
पड़ रहा है। That is something True Rippers cannot deal with.
अरे भाई 0 किल में है। Excuse me.
और उसके बावजूद
जीजू भाई
finding a
कोई
lot
बात
of
नहीं,
value
कोई
और
बात
loss
नहीं।
नहीं।
0 8 बोल से
पिछले
चटी
मैप
बोल
में इतना ज्यादा impactful नहीं खेल पाए थे, यहाँ तो
अंकिता आज
activate
स्ट्रीम
हो
नहीं
गए।
कर रही ना बस पार्टी।
लग रहा है पेप टाइम टॉक
तब भी
के
नहीं
लिए
कर रही।
टॉस, यू जस्ट डोंट वरी ब्रो, जस्ट रन क्लिक हेड्स, और अब वो करने लग गए हैं।
आइस बॉक्स के अंदर रॉसी और सेवरिन दोनों ही वो थे जो थोड़ा सा फ्रैगिंग के अंदर थोड़े ऐसे लग रहे थे। ऐसा नहीं बोलूँगा कमजोर, बिकॉज बाकी के 3 प्लेयर अच्छे खेल रहे थे। पैरा, डॉस, स्काई, जो हमारे स्किल्स है, तीनों ने अच्छा खेला। बट माइंड के अंदर वो जो 2 प्लेयर नीचे थे उस टाइम पे, इस बार दे लीडिंग द चार्ट, काफी गजब खेल रहे हैं। और ट्रू रिपर्स के नाक पे दम करने का मेजर जो क्रेडिट है इन दोनों को ही लगेगा अभी।
अबुका के अंदर ये जज है, क्या जजमेंट पास करेगी या सेवरीन को कुछ भी नहीं मिलने वाला है। दैट इज ये स्कोर, बट यू पिक इट टू द जज। और पीछे झिझक गए। ये शॉट पे ट्रिपल मैन पुश। रेवेनेंट के ट्रैप में इस समय बिल्कुल सर चढ़ के बोल रहे हैं ट्रू रिपर्स के।
गलत भाई।
हर सिचुएशन में दैट फर्स्ट अगेंस्ट डेथमेकर, पहले डिजी तोड़ा, फिर डेथमेकर को तोड़ा, उसके बाद आप देख रहे दैट पेशेंस।
भाई देख रहा है तू, 2 बंदे टीपी गए, टेक्नो फिर भी ए साइड पुश नहीं किया।
सिचुएशन में पकड़ा गया। ए शॉट पे पुश करके दे गॉट द डिफॉल्ट डाउन टू रेवरेंट।
भाई ये लोग पूरा फायदा नहीं उठा रहे बे, 2-2 कंट्रोलर लेके। वो ये क्या एंगल है?
करते हुए दिख रही है।
हॉल्स के बाहर आके लेफ्ट में चेक करेगा। बहुत अच्छा एंगल है एक्चुअली। रॉसी ने अगर लोग लगाए रखा ना, टेक्नो किक करेगा।
ज्यादा बेटर रहेगा इस सिचुएशन के अंदर क्रैश, क्योंकि वंस अगेन इकोनॉमी विल बी इन क्वेश्चन। अगर एक फ्रैग भी और मिल जाता है तो फिर टेक्नो अपनी वाइपर्स पिट के साथ कुछ
कंफ्यूज हो गया बे पूरा।
कर सकते हैं।
गाइस हमारेगा रॉसी
बिल्कुल फ्रैग निकालेगी डिसरप्ट, गेट्स टेकन
डाउन। प्रॉपर है।
यस, बट स्किल ये परेशान कर रहे हैं। 5 सेकंड क्लॉक पे, 1 सेकंड लाट आ जाएगा। बट सेवरीन ही विल जस्ट रन हिम डाउन, मतलब गन भी नहीं बाहर निकाल पाएंगे। टेक्नो जस्ट गेट्स टेकन
भाई अल्ट मार के प्लांट कर
डाउन।
सकता था।
ग्रेट जॉब डन बाय
टाइम नहीं था।
सीजन 1 के लेट्स
ये 2 राउंड
गो।
तक का सफर तय कर दिया है क्रैट।
1 किल मिला सीधू को।
1 सेकंड में मुझे लगा कि शायद से टेक्नो को मौका मिलने वाला है, बिकॉज़ वैलोरेंट एक ऐसी गेम है जहां
कम ऑन जीजू, 9-3 कर।
बता नहीं सकते कौन जीतने वाला है।
लास्ट राउंड लो।
अभी अल्टीमेट यूज करते हैं वो वाइपर पिट,
भाई।
उसके बाद आराम से वो 1v2
अबे जब पता था जज है।
आई डोंट नो, बट रेवेनेंट
अबे प्लांट था ना, अल्ट करके प्लांट करने का उसके पास।
those plays just crazy,
just running away with the map over your Revenant. And Smart as well, खुश हो गए। उनकी prediction बिल्कुल सही जा रही है।
एक्चुअली टीआर इतना गंदा खेल रही है कि रेवेनेंट को अपना नॉर्मल गेम खेलने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ रही।
Getting out the game, that's what they're providing for their fans. इस बार एक साथ मिलके कमिटमेंट की कोशिश है। सारे के सारे प्लेयर्स एक साथ एक वन डायमेंशनल शॉट हिट की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं। लेट्स सी इफ दिस वर्क्स आउट और नॉट। एक चोक पॉइंट से निकलना बेशक
भाई,
मजेदार जरूर करता है लौड़ा, दूसरी टीम एक्सचेंजेस वेल टॉप साइड भाग नहीं सकते तो क्या हुआ, शॉट्स हेडशॉट जरूर मार सकते हैं, दैट्स व्हाट ही डज, प्लेस विद डिसिप्लिन, फॉल्स बैक एंड प्लेस दैट 4v5।
ये क्या चल रहा है सर्वर के अंदर? इट्स टू मच chaos going right now, बट वहीं पे
क्या हो रहा है भाई इधर?
कम बैक, पैराडॉक्स हेडिंग टू डबल, वन विद अ शॉट,
क्या
वन विद
चल
अ
रहा है ये
पेन
भैया?
फाइनल
क्या चल रहा है मन्नू भाई?
ओह माय
मन्नू भाई हमें तो कुछ समझ मन्नू भाई को नहीं समझ आ रहा, वहाँ पे एनालिटिक्स डेस्क पे बैठ के हम क्या ही बोल सकते हैं भाई यहाँ पे।
रिप करने वाले थे बट यहाँ पर खुद को ही रिप होते हुए दिख रहे हो।
that's
फिर देखने के
जीतू भाई 2 किल, आरयू भाई 3 किल, डीएम भाई 6 किल, डिजर्व भाई 8 किल।
के अंदर पैरा जस्ट गेट्स इन विद अ 4K, एक पेंशन से और एक शॉटी फ्रैग भी था उसके अंदर। आई वाज रियली हैप्पी टू सी दैट।
एक शॉटी, एक पेंचल, एक शो स्टॉपर, मतलब अब सैचल ही रह गया था जिसे अगर वो भी पिक ऑफ कर लेते तो बातचीत ही अलग हो जाती। बट रेवरेंट
चैट 1 के लाइक्स कर दो यार।
और अब तो
कैन वी हैव सम लाइक्स?
अब साइट में प्लेयर
4 सेकंड 3 सेकंड थोड़ा अनपॉज करो, लाइक करो और उसके बाद फुल स्क्रीन करो फट से।
बट ट्रू रिपर्स आवर सी व्हाट आर दे प्लान।
भाई उनको पता है पुश करेगी और ये ठोकेंगे।
पैराडॉक्स विद दैट बर्स्ट द क्लासिक, ये
पिक मारा उसने।
with that classic, with that ghost, getting triple finish.
फ्लैश करेगा
For flash through gets, oh I thought RU निकल जाएगी उधर से, but Severin with one
अबे वो निकला क्यों नहीं वहाँ से?
बराबर कर दिया है।
कैसे?
Very uncharacteristic over there by Disrupt. लेकिन ये flash
बढ़िया
बहुत ही ज़्यादा अच्छा है।
कैसे?
True Reapers
दिमाग से खेला
यही खूबसूरती है
दिमाग से खेला
भाई, लेकिन उन लोगों ने जो रीड किया भाई,
उसको जीतते हुए देखने का एक अलग ही मजा है। अब आपको एक ओटी चाहिए था, व्हाट इफ ट्रू रिपर्स आपको ओटी दे दे? मेरे हिसाब से पूरा आईजे टूट जाएगा।
6-12
बहुत बड़ा
चैट आर वी लुकिंग एट अ ओटी?
और ऐसी शुरुआत होती है,
टीएम क्या कर रहा है?
बहुत जरूरी होते हैं।
6-12 में
तो जैसे शुरुआत हुई थी लगा ऐसा था रेवरेंट ही लेके जाएगी, बट आरयू का ये प्ले और जस्ट इनसेन एंड देन
बढ़िया है।
अपने बहुत सारे शॉट्स वेस्ट किए, बट देन दैट फ्लैश प्ले एसेंशियली
दिमाग अच्छा था,
मतलब एक अच्छी रिटेलिएशन। और स्टार्टिंग में पैरा ने फ्रैग निकालकर
ओटी ना हो पाए,
बट आरयू विद दैट ट्रिपल एंड डिस्टर्ब सिक्योरिंग द राउंड, बट कमिंग
ओपी एंगल है।
Let's take away that bulldog, Techno with that
पैरा भाई उठाते ही घुमा रहे हैं
over Dawson and Parrot, दोनों duelists को गवा चुके हैं। Chamber, Sky and Brim,
ये चैंबर चढ़ा रहा है
follow-up
टेक्नो
round है, True Rippers का जीता बनता है।
देखा
पिस्टल राउंड के अंदर True Rippers का कोई जवाब नहीं, बट जैसे जैसे सफर में आगे बढ़ते हैं, Reverend with those flashy plays just steals the show.
Oh my God, Rossi, wait a second. Hold up, crack, क्योंकि जो 3 फ्रैग मिले हैं, ये राउंड चेंज करेंगे। एक वेपन भी रिट्रीव किया है।
दिल से बोला वाटो
और ये तो मुंह से निवाला छीनने वाले हैं। ट्रू रिपर्स
क्या बोल रहे हैं मुंह से?
निवाला मींस अ बाइट, रोटी की बाइट।
दिक्कतों का पहाड़ है सामने, ये राउंड की सरकार।
अरे फिर ऐसे छोड़ दिया।
About to get the ace.
उसका
बट
एस
ये
था
रॉसी और 4 फिनिशेस का एक अलग ही रिश्ता है, और रिश्ता हमेशा बरकरार रहेगा। बट डिस्टर्ब एक मोमेंट पे ट्रू रिपर्स दे वर लीडिंग द चार्ट इन द मैन पावर, बट अफसोस थ्रिफ्टी रेवरेंट निकाल।
But where once a legend said,
Reverend just need 2 more
whichever
rounds
team is
to
at
secure the
11 is
first
gonna
match
lose.
of the semi-finals.
Oh, that's heartbreaking for True Rippers.
ये वो लगा रहा है
एक स्टोरी लाइन बना रही थी True Rippers की, शायद वापसी हो जाए,
ये
और
राउंड तो
वापसी
जीते
तो
के
रॉसी की हुई
चांसेस ही
थी
नहीं लग रहे
के अंदर,
यार।
वो दिखा दिए क्यों।
चलो
क्या शॉट
13-3
मारे हैं यहाँ पर। That hunger is visible. Look at that. This is snap on Deathmaker. और वो तीसरा कहीं ना कहीं बहुत ज्यादा मदद करके चला गया। 5वें पे तो एम लगता ही नहीं है, ये तो होता ही नहीं इनसे 5वें पे।
रॉसी और रॉसी के एम ये थोड़े से दूर है, बट ठीक है, क्रूशियल था।
ये फाटू लोअर ब्रैकेट वगैरह नहीं है क्या? होगा ना?
हाँ
सेवरीन ट्रेल ब्लेजर से पता चल गया है कि एक प्लेयर बेट्यू खेल रहा है। नाउ द डबल एंट्री
उसके मारा
कर रहे हैं डॉग साइड।
और चले
डिसरप्ट को बहुत ज्यादा मन कर रहा है। एक
ओ
डिसरप्ट डिड समथिंग
क्रेजी का सीन है क्या?
पैरा विद वन। चलिए लेकिन पैरा वो अपने तरीके के साथ सारी चीजों को
पैर
कंट्रोल
और
कर
वासी
लेंगे,
है भाई,
लेकिन अभी भी
मारेंगे भाई।
राउंड खत्म नहीं हुआ है क्रैक, एक 2 बनाम 2 का सिचुएशन है।
मतलब पैरा है रॉसी वर्सेस डेथमेकर है लेफ्ट
पिक
ब्रदर्स
नहीं करना,
जंग है
पिक नहीं
ये
करना।
वॉर ऑफ ब्रदर्स।
अरे पिक नहीं करना,
अब
पिक
दोनों
नहीं करना।
डिफेंडर्स ऑप्शन की तरफ जा रहे हैं, यहाँ पे साइड से शूटिंग जरूर कर रहे हैं बट ये किसकी गोली पहले रजिस्टर होगी
भाई
और इसके
कितना है रियल लाइफ का किल्स? एक
विद दैट गार्डियन
दो।
गेटिंग द फाइनल राउंड। अब गेम पॉइंट पर आ चुके हैं, सीरीज पॉइंट पर आ चुके हैं। अगर एवरेट एक और राउंड निकालती है ट्रू रिपर्स को 2-0 से, वो इस सेमीफाइनल में हरा देगी और सीधा ट्रू रिपर्स लोअर ब्रैकेट में जाते हुए दिखेंगे।
13-3
ये कन्वर्जेंस वाला टीआर है ही नो।
भी अवेलेबल है बट ये
तीर मारा, क्लीन शॉट्स।
पर जाने का नहीं था
भाई
बाहर।
इंडिविजुअल ब्रिलियंस और ट्रू रिपर्स के पास भी है, बस सही
वाह
समय
क्या
पे
शॉट है ना, मेरे को चाहिए
बाहर
यार।
बाहर जाने का नहीं था रे, बाहर जाने का नहीं था वापस डिस्टर्ब
अपग्रेडेड पिस्टल्स के साथ
को। इजी 4v2
राउंड
था।
इतनी क्लोज से गया को डिस्टर्ब के पास वो 3 शेयर फिनिश थे बट पैरा टाइम भी उन्हें स्टेप अप करा एंड गेम को संभाला।
कैन बेकर दो इस बार और बस वॉक कर गए और रॉसी के साथ वो 8-2 जीत गए हैं। कंट्रोल जरूर मिला उन्हें और ये प्लांट के अंदर अब अनकंफर्टेबल फील कर रही है रेवरेंट। यूटिलिटी बिग एक्सचेंज एज वेल बट बैकसाइड दे वांट टू फाइट इट। पैरा गेट्स वन, द जज इज स्टिल आउट बट ज्यादा कुछ कर नहीं पाएगी। आर यू विद द डबल डॉसाइन फाइनली फाइनली
भाई पैरा क्या इधर से उधर घूमे जा रहा है बस।
द फ्लैशेस गो, द फ्रैग्स आर गुड एज वेल। चलिए ट्रू रिपर्स इस बार सिचुएशन को कंट्रोल कर
पैरा बस सैचल मार के शॉटगन लेके इधर से उधर मार रहा है भाई, घुस रहा है।
वैलिडिटी बढ़ाई है ट्रू रिपर्स ने बट अब उनको फ्लॉलेस गेम दिखाना पड़ेगा। एक राउंड की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं मैं,
क्या हो रहा है भैया?
दे कांट अफोर्ड अ सिंगल मिस्टेक। अगर एक गलती और करी वेलकम टू लूजर ब्रैकेट्स का बोर्ड उनके हाथ में होगा।
जीजो अभी 0 किल पे प्रांशु भाई 2 किल लिए।
फर्स्ट हाफ लाजवाब, सेकंड हाफ के अंदर भी काफी खूबसूरती से अभी तक रेवरेंट खेलती हुई दिखी है।
टीआर को टट्टी लगी होगी, जल्दी गेम खत्म करना है।
कमजोर बाय रहेगा कुछ शेरे सिंगल के साथ आए थे।
You want to play? Let's play.
Oh, let's see. रॉसी आउट विद हिज अल्टीमेट।
नॉट डरे है भाई रॉसी।
तो पूरी तरीके से डिसरिस्पेक्ट कर दिया है बट द थिंग इज कोई भी खिलाड़ी नहीं खेल रहा है इस पोजीशन में और बाय नहीं है। स्टिंगर्स ऑल अक्रॉस फॉर टीम रेवेनेंट।
भाई टाइम स्टार्ट
प्लीज गन स्विच मत करियो डीएम, कुछ भी कर गन स्विच मत करियो।
शॉट रे बाबा,
व्हाई नॉट। ये स्लो फीड थोड़ा सा उनके अगेंस्ट हुआ करेगा कि वो स्टंस के साथ भी कहीं ना कहीं परेशानी हो रही है बट चला दो भागते हुए स्टिंगर।
मैनेज के लग रहा है
दैट्स द वेपन फॉर द जॉब। पैरा मुझे निकाला बट वो डिस्ट्रैक्ट किया।
फ्लैश हुआ था क्या वो? फ्लैश हुआ था बाबा।
बिकॉज़ लिटरली आपके सामने एक प्लेयर भागता हुआ जा रहा है, वो भी सिंगर लेके। थोड़ा सा परेशानी जरूर होती है बट यहाँ पे टेलीपोर्ट से रोटेट करके जरूर आए हैं। दिस कैन बी द लास्ट ऑफ ऑन टू रिप्रेजेंट द परसेंट फाइनल बट गलती नहीं करेंगे। आर यू डिसअप एक ट्राई निकाल दिया, अकेले ऐसे रॉसी बचे हैं। आगे बढ़ेंगे विद दैट हंटर, ही गॉट द सेकंड लास्ट फिनिश बट आखिरी ट्राई निकालने की
उसने वो डाला
बट आर यू विद दैट बैंडल। एक और राउंड के लिए ट्रू रिपर्स जिंदा है इस सेमीफाइनल्स 1 में।
तो ध्यान रखिएगा ये तो सिर्फ एक इको राउंड था। इस राउंड के अंदर स्टिंगर्स थी और उससे इतना करीब पहुंच गई थी टीम रेवेनेंट। ये कहीं ना कहीं मुश्किल रहेगा ट्रू रिपर्स के लिए वापसी। 2 राउंड और चाहिए कम से कम और उसके बाद हम बात करेंगे कि ट्रू रिपर्स कैसे वापस आ सकती है इस गेम के अंदर।
मैंने देखा है
5 से
अभी तुम्हें लग रहा है कि हेल्प कमबैक करेगा, थोड़ा मारेगा।
ट्रू रिपर्स
हेल्प के साथ ऐसा सीन नहीं
के अंदर भी मदद करने के लिए
वो जब भागता है ना तो वो भागते ही रहता है।
रेवेनेंट उनके पास सिर्फ वेपन्स और अपना दिमाग, 2 ही चीजें इस्तेमाल करने के लिए।
बाकी टीम मारेगी लेकिन एलएफ का सीन ऐसा है, मारता है तो मारेगा लेकिन अभी भाग रहा है ना तो कमबैक भी होगा, भागता ही रहेगा।
ये होता है यार वैलोरेंट में, नोटिस किया है यार।
पैराडॉक्स को थोड़ा सा जेरॉक्स करा है इन्होंने। टेक्नो ट्रिगर कंट्रोल कर सकते थे वो बिकॉज़ उनकी तरफ टेल बेजर पलटा ही नहीं था।
मतलब डुअल्स आर हैपनिंग। टीपी
ये अच्छा लग रहा है।
डिसरप्ट, ही इज फाइटिंग एवरीथिंग। पैराडॉक्स का सिचुएशन कंट्रोल करिए, गेट्स अ डबल
भाग रहे इधर उधर पर।
राउंड 8 डन।
अरे भाग गया था
पर से करके एलएफ विल मेक श्योर कि ट्रू रिपर्स के पास ये छठा राउंड भी आए। वापस से इको
तेरे को किल
मसालेदार बनाया जा रहा है अब गेम को ट्रू रिपर्स के
1 किल और आई हेल्प के पास।
वो
बहुत ज्यादा खुशी हो रही है मुझे। टीआर को राउंड मिल रहा है ना, उसकी खुशी नहीं है, हेल्प को किल है।
क्या उनके पास उतना ब्योट है कि वो इसका फॉल बैक ले सकते हैं? बस एक राउंड अगर ट्रू रिपर्स यहाँ पर हारती है वहीं पर सेमीफाइनल्स की जो जंग है उसके अंदर उसको फॉल बैक
मत बोलो आजकल वैसे भी ट्विट चल रहा है।
पड़ेगा। कोच के चेहरे पे वो देखिए सीरियसनेस,
पीछे से एक ही मिली।
कन्विंसिंगली बढ़िया खेल रही है।
Once a legend said something.
पैरा की एंट्री थी जो वो नोटों की गड्डियां लेकर आए थे, ऐसा ना हो ट्रू रिपर्स की तरफ फेंकते हुए दिखे हो।
लग पे रहा है क्राट 6 और राउंड
इवन भाई
तो आप कह लीजिए 8 और राउंड्स का सफर तय
यार के
करना पड़ेगा
स्पॉन्सर
True
से
Reapers
को रेवेनेंट
अगर
के
ये नाम
दौरान
अपने नाम कर रहा है क्योंकि 6 के बाद भी तो वो ओटी
ये देख रहे हो इसके ग्रे एड्स देखो, ये बैंगलोर के वाटर के वजह से देख रहे हो ना तुम लोग।
पर लेट्स सी क्या ये पॉसिबल है।
ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता। चैट कोई कोई कौन कौन बैंगलोर में है और उनके सुनहरे
बाबा मैं बोल रहा हूँ पर मैं इतनी यंग एज में मेरा ग्रे बॉल्स कैसे आ रही है, ग्रे बॉल्स।
नो क्वेश्चंस आस्क्ड, दैट्स व्हाट दे आर एमिंग फॉर राइट नाउ। वांट टू जस्ट फिनिश इट ऑफ।
Okay.
That's because आप खट्टी टॉफी खाते हो।
लगा दिया कुछ बोला हार्ड को नो दे गोइंग फॉर अ decent buy।
खट्टी टॉफी खाना बंद करो।
कुछ सिंगर एक गार्ड
टॉफी है नया चॉकलेट है।
टू द हेड बट फिर भी
चैट टीम खट्टी टॉफी खाता है इसलिए उसके है।
नाइस ये विन हमारा टीम।
कहां
ये विन हमारा
है ये सभी
गुस्सा आ रहा भाई मेरे को अंदर से गुस्सा आ रहा भाई।
मतलब करारे
कहां देख रहा है आर्यू, कहां देख रहा है मेरी जान।
एसके रॉसी एडिटर का शॉट मिस नहीं करेंगे बट बुरा लगेगा
भाई पीक ही नहीं ले रहे भाई, 9 ले रहे भाई उसके सामने पीक।
वेपन उठा नहीं पाए इतनी देर में, इस वजह से कहीं ना कहीं अभी भी एडिटर के ऊपर ही खेलना पड़ेगा। और रिस्पेक्ट देखिए कितनी देर है ट्रू रिपर्स, दैट इज नेसेसरी। डीएम लुकिंग फॉर मोर, द फोर्थ इस बार नहीं मिलेगा।
4K डीएम भी है का
डेथमेकर का भी पीछा नहीं छोड़ दिया ऐसा लग रहा है। स्किल्स ऑल अलोन इन अ 1v3 और आंकल कुछ ऐसा है जहां पर वो ऐसे काम नहीं कर पाएगी।
whichever team gets
आराम
stuck
से
in
ट्रू
12
रिपर्स
is
राउंड को
gonna go
सिक्योर
for
करेंगे
OT.
on the back of that 4K from डेथमेकर एंड स्टिल इन द गेम वेरी मच।
आज ये पिट के जाने वाला है हजारों जनताओं से। मां कसम आज ये पिट के जाएगा। इसके सफेद नारंगी बाल तो अलग बात, चोपड़ा भी एक नारंगी होगा गाइस।
जैसा भी खेल रहे हैं फ्लॉलेस वैसा ही उनको खेलना पड़ेगा।
मुश्किल वाली बात ये है क्रैट की अब अल्टीमेट्स बहुत सारी है रेवेनेंट के पास। सीकर्स अवेलेबल, ऑर्बिटल स्ट्राइक अवेलेबल, पैरा पे भी अल्टी है, फ्लैश पीक कर गए डेथमेकर।
अरे बार डब्ल्यू दबाओगे तो रॉसी रीड करेगा
और उस पे यहाँ पर पनिशमेंट दे दी है।
इसने अपना बैकस्टैप कहाँ लगाया बे?
वापस लिया। They want to get as much information as possible. लेकिन ये जो ए साइड हिट है इसको रोकने के लिए ज्यादा कुछ है नहीं यहाँ पर ट्रू रिपर्स के पास।
मतलब ऐसी सिचुएशन में जब आपके पास एक भी राउंड हारने
अबे
को
पीछे
नहीं है,
देख,
ट्रू रिपर्स एटलीस्ट एक्सपेरिमेंट
पीछे देख।
they went ahead, but Rossi with that plan टेक्नो को उन्होंने पिक ऑफ करा। अब इस सिचुएशन के अंदर
जी 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 हार गया
एट एनी कॉस्ट ये राउंड निकालना पड़ेगा वरना रेवेरेंट दे मूविंग फॉरवर्ड बता रही हूं विद द रेकनिंग साइड के अंदर उथल-पुथल जरूर होगी। विजन डिनाई करेंगे, कैस्केड करा, हाई टाइट करा, डिफ्यूज करते टाइम कोर व्यू जरूर कर सकते बट आर यू हेल एवरीवन सिक्योरिंग द फ्लैश फॉर देमसेल्फ बट डिस्टर्ब मूविंग फ्रॉम द ए शॉट। वहां पे एक एंगल था, डबल पीक का शिकार बनेंगे पैराडॉक्स।
जी
जी रेवेरेंट विद द फाइनल स्कोर लाइन of 13-7 and taking the final one और यही आई गट्टी।
हर एक प्लेयर की नजर उतार।
नकली नोट है मेरे पास भी पड़े थे, ज्यादा ऐसे मत करो।
है रेवेनेंट
ओपी
पहला मैप ऐसा लगा था कि ये क्यों चूज किया है
क्या भाई।
और फाइट अभी तक क्यों
चैट 1 के लाइक्स कर दो यार।
वो भी बता दिया भाई कि हमारे पास कुछ ऐसे स्टैट है
यार
जो
एक्सवीएल टीम के नाक कटा दी भाई। चैट 1 के लाइक्स करो यार। मैं नहीं जानता
पर जब करते थे जब करा रहे थे
लाइक करो रे बाबा कहीं तो खुश हो।
रेवेनेंट नो डाउट दे
रोना आ रहा है भाई। एक्सवीएलटी हो के नाक कटवा दी, नाक कटवा दी भाई एक्सवीएलटी।
सारे सवालों का जवाब मिल गया क्रैट। जॉनसाइन अच्छा परफॉर्म करेंगे 100% करेंगे। रॉसी क्या शॉट्स मारने वाले, अरे क्यों नहीं रॉसी
पर भाई इस लेजेंड के मुंह पे